Starship for all activate the Spear of Adun at the beginning. Chapter 1, The Ship Soul Awakens. God-level sign-in system activated. In this parallel world, everyone has the opportunity to undergo the Ship Soul Awakening ceremony when they turn 18. The so-called Ship Soul Awakening ceremony is a ritual to create a magical starship that can be bound to the host soul. Unlike ordinary starships, starships with ship souls have infinite possibilities for growth. Moreover, according to the level of the ship soul, the more powerful the ship soul, the stronger the bonus it will have on the ship. Two starships with the same configuration, even if one of them has the lowest level F-class ship soul, it is enough to crush the other starship. Therefore, for everyone in this world, a powerful ship soul is their greatest reliance for survival in the endless sea of stars. Today, the latest graduates of Blue Star Academy are heading to Blue Star Port for the Ship Soul Awakening ceremony under official arrangements. At this moment, many graduates from Blue Star Academy gathered together on a planet train. I've been waiting for 18 years, and finally it's today. Who is not? Once the ship soul is awakened, it means that we have the official ticket to the endless star sea. Hee, I hope I can awaken a powerful ship soul this time. In this case, I might be able to become the lord of the entire planet in the outer realm. My requirements are not high, as long as I can awaken a C-class ship soul, then I can apply to join the Sun Federation's fleet. Looking at the people talking in the train, Chu Jiang also looked out the window. A year has passed since he traveled to this world. Now, he has fully integrated into this world. In this world, the scope of human activities has already expanded to the entire endless sea of stars. The endless sea of stars represents endless opportunities, but also represents unknown risks. Only with the ship soul can they explore the unknown in this vast sea of stars. At this moment, an exclamation came from the train carriage. Hell, if I'm not mistaken, this should be the awakening token of the C-class ship soul, Wild Hunt class cruiser. Hiss, I heard that even a D-class ship soul awakening token is worth millions of star coins on the market. Is that an exaggeration? 1 million star coins is enough to buy a cheaper starship. What do you know? If you use an awakening token to awaken a ship soul, you can greatly increase the chance of awakening a high-level ship soul. Even if you don't awaken the advanced ship soul, with this awakening token, you can at least get a Wild Hunt class cruiser with a C-class ship soul. Awakening token. After a starship with a ship soul is destroyed by the enemy, some of its fragments will be turned into awakening tokens. If you hold the awakening token to awaken the ship soul, you will still have a guaranteed ship soul even if you are not selected by the high-level ship soul. The C-class ship soul is already considered a good existence among many awakened ones. Things like awakening tokens generally have a price but no market. People who can buy awakening tokens basically have very different backgrounds. Oh, my dad spent a lot of money to get this for me. You know, the ship soul level is divided into 9 levels from high to low: SSS level, SS level, S level, A level, B level, C level, D level, E level, F level. The probability of awakening a C-class ship soul is only 1%. With this token, my probability is directly increased to 100%. However, with my qualifications I can definitely reach higher levels. This token is just an insurance policy. The yellow-haired man sitting opposite Chu Jiang also proudly showed off the awakening token in his hand. The yellow-haired man is named Huang Fei, and his family is the famous interstellar energy company of Blue Star. It was precisely because of this that he was able to obtain such a rare awakening token. While Huang Fei was talking, he secretly cast his eyes on a cold and beautiful woman next to Chu Jiang. The cool beauty sitting next to Chu Jiang is Yun Qinghan, the famous school beauty of Blue Star Academy. Yun Qinghan's mother owns the largest interstellar spacecraft manufacturing company in Blue Star, and his father is a planet lord who is respected by the Sun Federation. A powerful background and a cool and stunning appearance. I don't know how many people regard her as the goddess of their dreams. At this time, Huang Fei also wanted to attract Yun Qinghan's attention. But Yun Qinghan's attention was not focused on him from beginning to end. Even the magazine in her hand was much more attractive than Huang Fei opposite. Seeing that his show-off did not attract the goddess's attention, Huang Fei also set his sights on Chu Jiang. By the way, Chu Shiweshan, are you ready to awaken the token? As the only student in our Blue Star Academy who has received a full scholarship in the past years, you must be ready to awaken the token. After saying these words, Yun Qinghan, who was still reading a magazine, also turned his attention to Chu Jiang. After Chu Jiang heard Huang Fei's words, he also touched his chin. I should say it's almost ready. Almost ready. After we get off the bus, we will reach Beha Starport. Is your awakening token still on the way? After that, Huang Fei stood up and patted Chu Jiang on the shoulder, with a mocking smile on his face. Don't worry, Xueshan Chu, even if you don't prepare to awaken the token, there is no need to force it. After all, the price of an awakening token is definitely not something you can afford. Everyone can understand, and there's no need for you to lie, right? At this moment, Yun Qinghan, who had been silent at first, suddenly spoke. Huang Fei, you are very noisy. As soon as these words came out, everyone felt that the temperature of the entire car dropped by several degrees. Huang Fei originally wanted to say something, but after hearing these words, he immediately shut up, and then returned to his seat angrily. Others also gradually returned to the previous noisiness. Chu Jiang smiled and continued to look out the window. System, how far is the check-in progress? Tip, signing into Blue Star, current progress, 99%. Host, please wait patiently. The longer it takes to sign in, the richer the rewards will be after successful sign-in. Chu Jiang has read this sentence countless times this year. A few days after he traveled through time, he awakened to this God-level sign-in system. As for this God-level sign-in system, Chu Jiang can sign in after arriving on a planet. It takes a certain amount of time to complete the sign-in. During this time, Chu Jiang cannot leave the planet. The longer you sign in, the more generous the sign-in rewards will be. And Chu Jiang has been signing at Blue Star for nearly a year. Chu Jiang was a little curious about how generous the reward for signing in for a year was. Chapter 2, S-Level Awakening Token, TAL and Hashtag 039, Darren Crystal. Dear students, we have arrived at our destination. Under the leadership of the team leader, everyone also arrived at the largest starport in Blue Star, Beha Starport. For today's ship soul awakening ceremony, Beha Starport also specially transferred all starships away from the starport. All this is done to make the following ship soul awakening ceremony go more smoothly. Soon, everyone also entered Beha Starport. When they arrived at Beha Starport, the first thing they saw were several majestic starships. Hiss. If I read it correctly, that ship should be the vehicle of Commander Neptune of the Sun Federation, an A-class infinite battleship. Since all the infinite battleships are here, doesn't it mean that Neptune Commander Zhong'an is also here? Woohoo! If I awaken the advanced ship soul this time, wouldn't I be able to directly apply to join the Sun Federation? The awakening ceremony hasn't even started yet, and you're already daydreaming. Chu Jiang, who was in the queue, looked around and found that in addition to the infinite battleship, there were several ships. The owners of these ships are even more prominent figures in the solar system. Finally, Chu Jiang's eyes were fixed on the stands not far away, where several figures were looking towards them. Even Chu Jiang did not expect that so many important people would come to this ship soul awakening ceremony. In previous ship soul awakening ceremonies, although there were some planet lords from the Sun Federation, in order to get talents as soon as possible, they came to the starport to observe the awakening ceremony. But this time is different from usual. In addition to Lord Neptune, there are actually other planet lords from the Solar Federation. Although these planet lords are all Blue Star people, their territories are outside the solar system. If nothing else, there's basically very little going back to the solar system. In the stands, Neptune Commander Zhong'an looked at the young people who were gradually entering the awakening ceremony venue, and also showed a smile of relief. There are many more young people undergoing awakening ceremonies this year than in previous years. I just don't know how many of this group of young people can become the conquerors of the endless star sea. After saying that, Zhong'an also looked at the planet lord next to him. Lord Cloud, I heard that your daughter is also among these young people. The planet lord just nodded slightly, keeping his eyes firmly on Yun Qinghan. Seeing this, Zhong'an stopped talking. Everyone's eyes fell on those young people. The awakening ceremony is about to begin. Yu Zian, prepare to step forward to awaken the ship soul. Following the shouts of the person in charge of the awakening ceremony, a somewhat thin man also came to the platform of the awakening ceremony. The platform is extremely large, and it is more than enough to park a starship. When the young man named Yuzian stood at the designated position according to the instructions, the person in charge of the awakening ceremony decisively pressed a button. The next second, several towers composed of energy crystals rose up one after another on the ground of the entire venue. These towers release powerful energy, which enters Yuzian's body. Immediately afterwards, a scene that shocked everyone happened. I saw a crack appearing in the sky due to the interference of the energy position. A powerful force burst out from the crack. Under the guidance of this powerful force, the shadow of a starship broke through the crack and descended directly into the world. It's not over yet. After the phantom of the starship appeared, the steel materials that had been prepared in the venue were like foam and turned into dots of starlight. These starlights merged into the phantom of the starship. Under the injection of starlight, the originally illusory starship gradually became extremely staring. Boom. Finally, with a muffled sound, a starship containing the soul of the ship also appeared in Beha starport. Yuzian, D-Class Rift-Class Destroyer. The person in charge of the awakening ceremony read out the results expressionlessly. They had seen this happen many times. But these graduates have never watched the ship's soul awakening ceremony so closely. They never expected that the ship's soul can actually construct its own body by swallowing steel materials. This is too magical. TSK, I thought such a big movement was something rare. It turned out to be a D-Class destroyer. Huang Fei said with some disdain. Later, Huang Fei also glanced at Yun Qinghan, and then said proudly, "When I awaken the ship's soul, the noise will definitely be no less than this." As he said this, another person began to wake up. This time, the vision of his awakening was completely different from the previous one. The ship's soul suddenly appeared in the sky, and the surrounding steel materials were also absorbed by it. However, the amount absorbed was far less than what Yuzian had last time. F-Class Ghost-Class Destroyer. Watching one after another complete the ship's soul awakening, Chu Jiang also touched his chin and began to analyze. Judging from the awakening status of these people, the more powerful the ship's soul is, the bigger the phenomenon will be when it appears. And the number of materials consumed can also tell the level of its ship's soul. Ding, congratulations, Blue Star signed in successfully. At this moment, the system's voice suddenly sounded in his mind. Chu Jiang was shocked, and then extremely pleasantly surprised. Finally, the sign-in was successful, and he wanted to see what the system's sign-in reward was. Ding, congratulations on successfully obtaining the S-Class ship's awakening token, the Taldarin crystal. Ding, congratulations on successfully obtaining the coordinates of Holy Terra. Ding, congratulations on successfully obtaining 1,000 pilot warriors and 1,000 Titan mechas. Hiss. 3 rewards in a row made Chu Jiang understand a sentence. Products produced by the system must be high-quality products. S-level awakening token, Taldarin crystal. In other words, if he awakens the ship's soul next, the ship he awakens will be at least S-Class. S-Class ships, let alone the entire solar system. Looking at the entire galaxy, there are only a handful of them. All S-Class ships among them are cultivated. And he is an innate S-Class ship soul. The end point of others is his starting point. Just when Chu Jiang was about to continue checking other rewards, Yun Qinghan quietly came to Chu Jiang. Chu Jiang, you don't have the ship soul awakening token, do you want to make a deal with me? Trade. Chu Jiang also looked at Yun Qinghan, what deal? After saying that, Yun Qinghan opened her palm and saw a black fragment lying quietly in her palm. This is the awakening token of the B-Class Shadow-Class frigate. As long as you agree to form a fleet with me in the future, this awakening token will be yours. The awakening token of the B-Class Shadow-Class frigate. Chu Jiang thought that Yun Qinghan was a rich woman, but he didn't expect that she was so rich. This is the awakening token of the B-Class Shadow-Class frigate. Chapter 3, Do you want to support me? Are you bragging? How about you? Looking at Yun Qinghan in front of him, Chu Jiang also raised questions. Yun Qinghan, on the other hand, took out a fiery red crystal very calmly. The A-Class Fire Phoenix-Class Battleship's ship soul awakening token. After seeing this fiery red crystal, Chu Jiang also smiled. Also, how could the awakening token Yun Qinghan prepared for himself be bad? Opposite him, Yun Qinghan also looked at Chu Jiang sincerely. As the most outstanding graduate of Blue Star University over the years, many organizations have sent invitations to Chu Jiang. But without exception, Chu Jiang rejected them all. Yun Qinghan also admired Chu Jiang very much, saying that it is easy to win an army but hard to find a general. For her, using a B-class ship soul token in exchange for a super talent is a very good deal. Huang Fei next to him almost burst out of his eyes when he saw this scene. The graduates around him couldn't help but gasp. B-level awakening token. Is this the strength of goddess Yun Qinghan? This is just an awakening token she gave to Chu Jiang. She has an A-level awakening token herself. A-level awakening token, I have only heard of this kind of thing, never seen it before. In comparison, Huang Fei's C-level awakening token is simply not good enough. Huang Fei's eyes widened as well. How could this Chu Jiang be so virtuous? You know, Yun Qinghan, who has a strong background and peerless appearance, as long as she flirts a little, there are countless people who are willing to join her fleet and become her subordinates. But Yun Qinghan chose Chu Jiang, and even took out a B-level awakening token as a bargaining chip. Huang Fei had never thought of this situation in his dreams. Cloud Goddess. Can I also join your fleet? I have a C-level awakening token, so the awakened ship soul will definitely be good. At this time, Huang Fei was also shamelessly thinking about whether he could join Yun Qinghan's fleet. After all, I have a C-level awakening token in my hand, which is much better than those who don't even have an awakening token. But Yun Qinghan just looked at him coldly, and then uttered 3 words. You do not deserve. As soon as these 3 words came out, everyone looked at Huang Fei as if they were laughing. No matter how thick-skinned Huang Fei is, he can't help but feel hot at this moment. But then, something even more shocking happened. Chu Jiang looked at Yun Qinghan and said with certainty, I'm sorry, let me refuse. What? Chu Jiang rejected Yun Qinghan. Oh no, I heard you right. You heard right, Chu Jiang rejected Goddess Yun's invitation. How is that possible? That's a B-level awakening token. If it were me, hesitating for even a second would be disrespectful to the awakening token. Even Yun Qinghan was a little surprised. Logically speaking, my treatment of Chu Jiang is definitely generous. As long as he joins his fleet, he will give him the B-level awakening token in his hand. You know, B-level awakening tokens are not just something you can get if you have money. Yun Qinghan was also a little hard to accept. She thought this was a sure deal. But I didn't expect that Chu Jiang refused so decisively, without even a trace of hesitation. Can you give me a reason? Yun Qinghan was also a little unwilling to give up and continued to ask Chu Jiang for the reason. Chu Jiang said calmly, because I have a better choice. A better choice? Yun Qinghan frowned slightly. Could it be that someone offered Chu Jiang a higher price to work for him? But she really couldn't imagine what price that person paid to make Chu Jiang reject her so simply. Could it be that person who promised Chu Jiang the A-level awakening token? But Yun Qinghan knew very well that the difficulty of obtaining A-class ship soul awakening tokens was beyond the reach of ordinary people. Even his own father had to go to great lengths to get this A-class ship soul awakening token. It was hard for her to imagine who could spend so much money to get Chu Jiang to work for him. Thinking of this, Yun Qinghan also broke the casserole and asked what happened. A better choice. Do you have an A-level awakening token? No. It's S-class. As soon as these words came out, there was silence all around. Afterwards, Huang Fei was the first to laugh out loud. S-level awakening token. Chu Jiang, before you brag, do you want to make a draft and check the history of Blue Star? Since the appearance of the ship Soul, there has never been an S-class awakening token in Blue Star's historical records. The highest level of the ship Soul awakening token is a level. The existing S-class ships are all evolved from ship souls below S-class. Are you kidding me? Huang Fei seized this opportunity and ridiculed Chu Jiang desperately. At this moment, he seemed to want to get back all the face he had lost before. Yun Qinghan also frowned slightly. She originally thought that someone had hired Chu Jiang in advance using a Grade A awakening token. But I didn't expect Chu Jiang to say such a thing. The S-class ship Soul awakening token has never appeared in the entire history of Blue Star. This thing is entirely something that exists in theory. But Chu Jiang remained calm in the face of everyone's ridicule and contempt. Just because you haven't seen it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Seeing Chu Jiang's confident look, even Yun Qinghan couldn't help but be slightly startled. does the S-Class ship's awakening token really exist? If this thing exists, wouldn't Chu Jiang's awakened ship soul be at least S-level? Just thinking about it makes me feel terrified. You know, in the entire solar system and even the entire galaxy, S-Class starships are rare. These S-Class starships have continuously evolved from advanced ship souls, and eventually transformed into S-Class ships, but essentially their ship soul levels are still below S-Class. If Chu Jiang really has an S-Class ship soul awakening token, then his ship soul is at least an S-Class ship soul. For a starship with an S-Class soul, it's hard to imagine how terrifying it will eventually grow. Since you have the S-Class ship soul awakening token, take it out and let everyone open their eyes. I've never seen an S-Class ship soul awakening token before. Huang Fei is also pressing forward step by step, as if today he will tear apart Chu Jiang's lies and ruin his reputation. Chu Jiang was also very calm and opened his right hand. At this moment, everyone saw the items in his hands. A faint blue crystal floated quietly in Chu Jiang's palm. Such a magical scene also attracted Yun Qinghan. She had never seen this awakening token before. This is not some broken rock you just found to fool us. Huang Fei naturally didn't believe that this ordinary crystal stone was the S-Class ship's awakening token that Chu Jiang said. And Chu Jiang also smiled lightly, you will know when you wake up later. At this moment, the person in charge of the awakening ceremony also read Chu Jiang's name. Next, Chu Jiang. Chapter 4, The Protoss is back. The first S-Class ship soul in Blue Star history. Arrived at Chu Jiang. Exactly. Didn't he say that he has an S-level awakening token? If he really has an S-level awakening token, then the ship soul he awakens this time must be at least S-level. Are you bragging? It will be over in a moment. Everyone's eyes also fell on Chu Jiang. Chu Jiang is not under any pressure at all. He is sure that what the system gives him will not go wrong. He held the Taldarin crystal in his hand and walked towards the awakening platform leisurely. When he actually stood on this platform, he felt that the feeling on this platform was completely different from ordinary. Chu Jiang felt that the Taldarin crystal in his palm was getting hot, and even his heartbeat was a little faster. Buzz. At this moment, the surrounding energy crystal towers also rose. The huge energy magnetic field also enveloped Chu Jiang. Zhongwen in the stands looked at the awakening Chu Jiang and recognized the most outstanding student of this Blue Star Academy in the past years. That little guy should be the legend from Blue Star Academy. I don't know what kind of ship soul he can awaken this time. If this guy can awaken a D-level or higher ship soul, then I have to fight for it. As soon as he finished speaking, a planet lord next to him also smiled. Lord Zhongwen, don't be so anxious. The biggest certificate in the Sea of Stars is the ship soul. If he does not awaken an excellent ship soul, no matter how good he is, it will be useless. As soon as these words came out, many planet lords nearby also nodded slightly. They are all veterans who have been struggling in the endless Sea of Stars for many years. No one knows the importance of the ship soul better than them. In their eyes, the strength of the ship soul is everything. And Zhongwen cannot deny that if the level of Chu Jiang's awakened ship soul is too low, then even he will not be able to get it into the Sun Federation. At this moment, the sky in Beha Starport suddenly changed drastically. Rumble. As a thundercloud gathered over Beha Starport, a huge coercion fell on everyone like the weight of a mountain. Zhongwen and others couldn't help but widen their eyes. What's the situation? Their eyes all fell on the awakening Chu Jiang, and they saw the Taldarin crystal in Chu Jiang's hand burst out with amazing energy. A beam of light shoots straight into the sky like a coordinate. This scene shocked everyone. Even the person in charge of the awakening was dumbfounded. He has been responsible for the awakening of ship souls for so many years, but he has never seen such a huge awakening phenomenon. Wow! As a gust of wind blew by, a crack opened in the sky. At this moment, everyone saw it. A golden fleet suddenly arrived, and then, a planet appeared in their field of vision. Seeing this planet, all the planet lords suddenly stood up. This is the Star Spirit clan's mother planet. But wasn't the Star Spirit family's home planet destroyed by the Zerg thousands of years ago? How is it possible? This guy's ship soul is a starship belonging to the Protoss Spirit tribe. Hiss. Every starship in the Star Spirit clan's golden fleet is at the level of an A-class ship soul. Is this guy going to awaken an A-class ship soul? Even an A-class ship soul shouldn't make such a big move. But at this moment, Zhong'an interrupted the discussion of others. No. You may not understand the value of the Star Spirit Starship. After all, the Star Spirit tribe was originally a powerful race called the God Clan. If Chu Jiang really awakens the Starship soul of the Star Spirit tribe, then the ship soul he awakens will definitely be the strongest among all A-class ship souls. Others may not understand the value of the Protoss fleet, but Zhong'an knows it very well. Because Zhong'an saw the battle scene of the Star Spirit fleet. Although they only had a fleet of 100 ships, they easily destroyed the space pirate base with 500 ships. Zhong'an will never forget that terrifying fighting power. If Chu Jiang's awakened ship soul is really the ship soul of the Star Spirit ship, then his ship soul's combat power is absolutely powerful. Thinking of this, Zhong'an also glanced at the surrounding planet lords. Those planet lords are already ready to make a move. Such a talent is completely a piece of cake for them. But at this moment, the vision in the sky changed again. The golden fleet in the sky suddenly began to change its formation, and a wide avenue was vacated. Numerous Protoss ships lined up on both sides, like a guard of honor, as if they were welcoming something. Seeing this scene, many planet lords were also stunned. Could it be that this golden fleet is not the protagonist of this awakening? What's going on? What kind of existence are these golden fleets welcoming? As far as I know, the golden fleet is the most elite among all fleets of the Protoss. What kind of existence can make the golden fleet make way for it? Hiss! Aren't these golden fleets one of the ship souls awakened by Chu Jiang? If not, wouldn't the level of his awakened ship soul be above level A? As soon as these words came out, all the planet lords looked at each other. You know, there are only S-class ship souls above the A-class ship soul. S-class ship souls have never appeared in the history of Blue Star. Although the ship souls of some of them have been upgraded to S level, they were all upgraded the day after tomorrow. An innate level S-class ship soul has never appeared in the history of Blue Star. For a moment, everyone felt a sense of solemnity. Boom. At this moment, a muffled sound came from the sky. 3 huge and magnificent ship souls rushed out from the Star Spirit Mother planet. The bodies of these 3 ship souls are extremely large, and the energy emanating from them is as dazzling as the scorching sun. In front of these 3 ship spirits, even the Golden Fleet is inferior. At this moment, the Star Soul in the middle flew straight towards Chu Jiang. At this moment, the ship souls of all the Protoss ships turned into golden light and poured into that ship soul. A large amount of materials were swept up by this ship soul like a storm. Almost instantly, half of the materials that had been prepared had been absorbed by Chu Jiang's ship soul. This half of the material is enough to build a frigate. But in front of Chu Jiang's ship spirit, he was completely helpless. No, there's not enough material. Zhong'an was also shocked when he saw this. He didn't expect that the materials needed to condense Chu Jiang's ship soul into a solid body would be so huge. If the ship soul does not absorb enough materials, it will not be able to successfully awaken. No one has ever awakened the S-class ship soul in the past years, and even Zhong'an did not expect this situation. The next second, Zhong'an stood up directly. Notify all departments. Call all the ship materials in Beha Starport. Immediately. Chapter 5, The Spear of Adun arrives. You don't deserve it and neither do I. Is this an S-class ship soul? Oh my god, this is the first time I've seen such a huge awakening vision. Chu Jiang didn't lie, he really has an S-level awakening token. Is it important to lie at this time? This is the first innate S-class ship soul in the history of Blue Star. Today, this moment will eventually be recorded in the history of Blue Star. Chu Jiang stood on the platform and looked at the phantom of the ship above his head. After seeing the appearance of this ship, he also recognized its identity. This ship is one of the 3 arc ships of the Protoss, the Spear of Adun. Unexpectedly, my ship soul is actually it. But now Chu Jiang has no time to sigh, because the Spear of Adun is an S-class ship soul. To condense the entity, the materials consumed can be said to be an astronomical unit. I just don't know if Beha Port can afford the supply. In fact, Chu Jiang has nothing to worry about. The moment Zhong'an gave the order, all the warehouses in Beha Starport were opened. A large amount of ship materials were also carried out, and these materials would be automatically absorbed by the Spear of Adun as soon as they approached the awakening platform. Truck after truck delivers materials to the awakening platform. There were even some delivery trucks rushing in from outside the North River port. Many planet lords in the stands also mobilized their relationships to transport a large amount of ship materials. This is the first innate S-class ship soul in the history of Blue Star. As a Blue Star person, I will never miss this opportunity. This will be the glory of the entire Blue Star. As a large amount of material is absorbed, the shape of the Spear of Adun becomes clearer and clearer. When everyone looked at the huge Spear of Adun, they couldn't help but gasp. Why is this ship system so huge? It's already longer than a battleship. More than just surpassing it, even battleships are as small as ants in front of it. Lord Zhong'an, this type of starship is obviously beyond the scope of a battleship. What type of starship is this? You ask me, who should I ask? Zhong'an replied angrily, even he had never seen such a huge starship. The entire sky of Beha Starport is almost covered by this starship. The majestic and powerful aura was like a huge mountain, pressing on everyone's hearts. I don't know how long it took, but the last truck of ship materials was consumed. The ship soul and materials of the Spear of Adun were fully integrated, and a huge starship with entity appeared in the sky of Beha Starport. Is this the S-class starship Spear of Adun? Chu Jiang opened his palm, and the Taldarin crystal that was originally in his palm had disappeared. But now, Chu Jiang can feel that there is a strong connection between himself and the Spear of Adun. The Spear of Adun seems to have become a part of his soul. As long as he moves his mind slightly, he can operate the Spear of Adun. Is this the power of the ship soul? You know, for such a huge ship to exert its power 100%, it must be operated by a large number of crew members. But it's different after having the ship soul. The ship soul and Chu Jiang's soul are connected, and the Spear of Adun with the ship soul becomes a part of Chu Jiang. Now Chu Jiang operates the Spear of Adun as if he were using his own arms, with ease and flexibility. At this moment, a figure fell from the sky. The staff responsible for awakening saw this scene and immediately prepared to yell. However, when he saw the face of that person, he swallowed back the words that were on his lips. The figure that suddenly appeared in front of him was none other than Commander Neptune, Zhong'an. Zhong'an came straight to Chu Jiang, and Chu Jiang was also standing there. Young man, do you know that today you have awakened the first S-class ship soul in the history of Blue Star? I know. Chu Jiang also knows the value of the S-class ship soul very well. If it weren't for the Taldarin crystal rewarded by the system, no matter how lucky he was, he would probably only be able to awaken one A-class ship soul at most. And Zhong'an didn't hide it at all, he extended an olive branch to Chu Jiang. Young man, are you willing to join my fleet? As long as you are willing to join my Neptune fleet, I can separate a separate fleet for you to lead personally. Before he finished speaking, several more figures fell around Chu Jiang. These figures were other planet lords. When they saw Zhong'an coming to snatch people, they couldn't sit still. Boy, don't listen to this guy's nonsense. How big is the fleet he allocated to you? You are messing with me. As the Lord of Sapphire Star, I have as many as 3,000 ships under my command. I can assign 1,000 ships to you. Tisk, superficial. You guys are so insincere. After all, I am the first person in the history of Blue Star to awaken the soul of an S-class ship. Boy, as long as you agree to join me, I can give you the psychic seeds I recently obtained. Okay, you old bastard, didn't you say that the psychic seeds have been used by you? For a time, the major planet lords on the awakening platform became very aggressive in order to recruit Chu Jiang. At this moment, Chu Jiang also coughed dryly. Sorry, lords, I have decided to go on an interstellar voyage alone. Right now, I don't plan to join any organization. Having said this, many planet lords also frowned slightly. Going on an interstellar voyage alone. Pity. If Chu Jiang, the first man in history, can be brought under his command, both his reputation and strength will be greatly increased. Since little brother Chu Jiang has already made his own choice, we can't force him. Zhong'an also understood that if he continued to entangle him, not only would he not be able to take Chu Jiang under his command, it would actually arouse his resentment. For a genius like Chu Jiang, Zhong'an and others naturally do not want to make enemies. So Zhong'an also took out a pass. This pass is a pass for the Galactic Covenant Alliance. As long as you have this pass, you can use all the star gates in the galaxy. This pass can also be regarded as Zhong En's goodwill towards Chu Jiang's release. Seeing this, other planet lords followed suit and gave Chu Jiang many things. Chu Jiang looked at the trophy in his arms and couldn't laugh or cry. Is this the appeal of the S-class ship Soul Awakener? Afterwards, Chu Jiang also stepped off the awakening platform. Huang Fei's eyes widened when he looked at the dazzling array of trophies in Chu Jiang's arms. Chu Jiang really awakened the S-class ship Soul. And Yun Qinghan's beautiful eyes also fell on Chu Jiang and could not be moved away. No wonder he declined his invitation, he did have better options. Chapter 6, Target Holy Terra, I want you to protect my daughter. Next, Yun Qinghan. Immediately afterwards, many remaining graduates also awakened their ship souls one after another. Among them, Yun Qinghan also lived up to expectations and awakened the A-class Fire Phoenix-class battleship. This was originally something worth celebrating, but because of the example of Chu Jiang, not many people would care even if she awakened the A-class ship Soul. Soon, everyone successfully awakened the ship Soul. This also means they will officially graduate. From now on, whether they join other fleets or go on an interstellar voyage alone, this is their own life choice. The awakening ceremony was over, and Chu Jiang was also preparing to leave Beha Starport. My Spear of Adun has been parked in the Moon Starport as instructed. After all, his Spear of Adun is extremely large. Even for North River Starport, it was still difficult to accommodate the Spear of Adun. Next, Chu Jiang will prepare the things needed for interstellar navigation. After all, he still has the coordinates of the Holy Terra rewarded by the system. Chu Jiang took out the astrolabe that recorded the coordinates of Holy Terra. There was a coordinate recorded on the astrolabe. And the place where this coordinate is located is what the world calls outer territory. The Outland is a realm that humans have not set foot on until now. The outer realm is filled with all kinds of powerful alien races, and it also contains a large amount of rare energy materials. For example, the psychic seeds that can reshape a person are basically spread from the outside world. Compared with the inner realm that humans have explored, the outer realm is like a mist, unknown and mysterious. And the coordinates of this Holy Terra are right within the scope of the outer domain. It seemed that he had to go to the outside world. An S-class starship, Spear of Adun, was enough to get Chu Jiang excited. This Holy Terra will definitely not be any worse than the Spear of Adun. At this moment, a hand was also placed on Chu Jiang's shoulder. Chu Jiang looked back and saw Yun Qinghan standing behind him. Chu Jiang, are you free now? As soon as these words came out, other graduates who were preparing to leave also gathered their attention. What's the situation? Could it be that Goddess Yun still doesn't give up and wants to take Chu Jiang under her command? Tisk, TSK, this is the second time Goddess Yun has come to Chu Jiang. I really envy him. When will I be pestered by Goddess Yun? Whenever you awaken your S-class ship Soul, Goddess Yun may also be chasing you. Is Goddess Yun still not giving up? Chu Jiang even refused the invitation of the Sun Federation. You can't tell. You may not know what conditions Goddess Yun will offer this time. Chu Jiang looked at Yun Qinghan in front of him and answered truthfully. Now I plan to go to the market to buy some space navigation equipment. Hearing this sentence, Yun Qinghan was also a little embarrassed. Why couldn't she hear the rejection in Chu Jiang's words? As a sweet girl of heaven, I was actually rejected by the same person twice in one day. Thinking of this, Yun Qinghan secretly became excited in her heart. Just when Yun Qinghan was about to say something else, a generous figure appeared behind her. Young man, I asked my daughter to come to you. I have something to discuss with you. Wow. The people around him exploded. Because the person standing behind Yun Qinghan is none other than Yun Qinghan's father, the Lord of Aurora Star, Yun Ruofeng. Yun Ruofeng is the planet lord of the Sun Federation, but he and the Sun Federation are only in a cooperative relationship. He has 10 planet territories under his command, and his strength is extremely terrifying. His fleet alone is as high as more than 10,000. With such a strong strength, even the Sun Federation would give it 3 points. Unexpectedly, Yun Ruofeng actually came to Chu Jiang in person. Now, even if Chu Jiang wanted to refuse, he felt a little embarrassed. Since you have said so, my lord, I would rather obey your orders than I am respectful. Hearing these words, Yun Qinghan was also a little unconvinced. It's useless to call him by yourself, you have to have your father come forward. Are you so unattractive? After all, I am somewhat pretty, but this guy doesn't give me any face. When Zhong'an saw Chu Jiang being taken away by Yun Ruofeng, his eyes widened. I wonder, is this guy Yun Ruofeng planning to give his daughter away in order to recruit Chu Jiang? Zhong'an touched his chin and thought for a moment. During this moment, he carefully searched for anyone among his relatives who was suitable to introduce to Chu Jiang. In the end, Zhong'an also slapped his thigh. No, we can't let this guy Yun Ruofeng abduct Chu Jiang. So Zhong'an also followed directly. Chu Jiang and his party also went directly to the most upscale restaurant in Blue Star. Yun Ruofeng specially ordered a private room. There were only 3 people in the huge private room: Chu Jiang, Yun Qinghan, and Yun Ruofeng. At this moment, Chu Jiang was sitting on pins and needles, wondering why Yun Ruofeng suddenly came to him. Lord, I wonder if you have any business with me. Chu Jiang was also unceremonious and took the initiative to ask straight to the point. And Yun Ruofeng glanced at Chu Jiang, with a sense of oppression belonging to a superior in his eyes. But faced with this sense of oppression, Chu Jiang was not afraid at all. After all, I am now the first S-class ship soul awakener in the history of Blue Star. If Yun Ruofeng dared to touch him, no planet lord from Blue Star would let him go. Yun Ruofeng just looked at Chu Jiang for a while, and then took out a star coin card. There are 5 million star coins in here. I want to hire you to protect my daughter. Recently, a group of interstellar pirates appeared near the solar system. Interstellar pirates. Ordinary interstellar pirates can be easily wiped out by sending out a fleet from the Sun Federation. What kind of pirate would let Yun Ruofeng hire Chu Jiang to protect Yun Qinghan? Based on the information we have investigated so far, this group of pirates most likely came to the solar system from the outer realm through a wormhole. Because of this, they are very cunning and will immediately evade our fleet once they spot it. The flagship of their fleet is a starship with a B-class soul. Although they are B-class, they have an invisible position. It is difficult for us to catch these guys. Interstellar pirates from Outland. Chu Jiang touched his chin. No wonder the Sun Federation hasn't dealt with these pirates yet. None of the interstellar pirates who could survive in the outer realm was a good person. Next, you will definitely become the first target of attack by these interstellar pirates. So, I would like to ask you to temporarily form a fleet with my daughter to protect my daughter. Chapter 7. It seems that I misunderstood, the crazy pirate group. You just need to bring my daughter to the Vulcan galaxy. At that time, you can arrange whatever you want. Yun Ruofeng also expressed his request. Looking at the star coin card on the table, Chu Jiang was also moved. You know, interstellar voyage is an extremely long and expensive activity. I am worried about the fact that the Spear of Adun is such a huge starship, and the maintenance cost alone will cost a lot of star coins. And the star coins that Yun Ruofeng gave him just solved his urgent need. Thinking of this, Chu Jiang also glanced at Yun Qinghan. If Goddess Yun has no objection, I can accept this commission. As soon as he finished speaking, Yun Ruofeng's eyes fell on his daughter. Seeing the two people's eyes focused on him, Yun Qinghan also snorted softly. Father, you are making too much fuss, they are just a group of interstellar pirates. Can't you just send a fleet to escort me to the Vulcan galaxy? How about letting this guy protect me? Yun Qinghan was also a little unconvinced. Yun Ruofeng touched her head. This is the solar system, and the fleet under my command cannot move too much. Besides, if you let a large fleet escort you to the Vulcan galaxy, it will attract the attention of those interstellar pirates. Don't underestimate those interstellar pirates. They have been wandering around in the outer world for many years, and each of them has at least a few lives on their hands. Having said that, Yun Ruofeng also looked at Chu Jiang. Chu Jiang's fleet consisted of 1 and 2 ships, and even those interstellar pirates probably looked down upon him. Even if you are unlucky enough to encounter those interstellar pirates, with the strength of the Chu Jiang S-class starship, stopping those interstellar pirates will not be a problem. As long as those interstellar pirates dare to take action, their fleets wandering around the edge of the solar system can come to support at any time. In order to allow Yun Qinghan to embark on the interstellar voyage more safely, Yun Ruofeng, an old father, was also worried. In the end, Yun Qinghan accepted his father's arrangement. She didn't think she was so unlucky that she would encounter those interstellar pirates as soon as she left the solar system. Then I will accept this commission. Chu Jiang took the star coin card and felt happy in his heart. In this way, there will be no problem with your initial capital. The next step is to go to the market to purchase some space food. After all, there are still 1,000 pilot warriors on his starship. These pilot warriors cannot stay without food or drink. Boom. Just when Chu Jiang was putting away the star coin card, the door to the private room was forcibly opened. Zhongwen was seen standing at the door. When he saw Chu Jiang standing up and preparing to leave, he was slightly startled. Did you come too late? When Yun Ruofeng saw Zhongwen appearing here, he was stunned for a moment, and then he understood. Don't worry, I just discussed with this guy Chu Jiang and asked him to protect my daughter when he leaves the solar system. As soon as he said this, Zhongwen also looked at Chu Jiang with suspicion. Chu Jiang also looked confused. Why did Zhongwen appear here? Yun Ruofeng waved his hand to signal Zhongwen to come in, and then said to Yun Qinghan beside him. You go and purchase the supplies needed for interstellar navigation with Chu Jiang. I still have some important things to discuss with Lord Zhongwen. After hearing this, Yun Qinghan left the private room very wisely. After leaving the private room, Yun Qinghan also looked at Chu Jiang. Chu Jiang's attention has always been on the star coin cards, and at this time he has begun to think about how to use these star coins. In the private room, Zhongwen also looked at Yun Ruofeng. Lord Yun, what do you want from me? And Yun Ruofeng also looked at him angrily. What else can happen? Of course it is about the group of interstellar pirates that have been wreaking havoc around the solar system recently. According to the information we know, this group of interstellar pirates is called the Crazy Pirates Group. This pirate group once operated in the outer realm but offended a planet lord, so they were chased into a wormhole. Just some time ago, a wormhole appeared in the surrounding areas of the solar system, and they were transported here. A gang of outlaw pirates. Hearing this name, Zhongwen also frowned. He did know about this interstellar pirate recently. The Sun Federation is also very troubled by this. If it were a head-on confrontation, the fleet of any planet lord in the Solar Federation could easily crush this pirate fleet. But the troublesome thing is that this pirate fleet won't fight you head-on at all. They ransacked caravans around the solar system and fled after looting. In addition, their flagship is a B-class starship with a stealth position, and they have no way to start. Now this pirate fleet has almost become a worry for the senior officials of the Sun Federation. However, Zhongwen was even more impressed that Yun Ruofeng was able to get so much information about this crazy pirate group. So what are you going to do next? Zhongwen was also a little curious about how Yun Ruofeng planned to deal with these interstellar pirates. Yun Ruofeng said very calmly, I have already released the news that my daughter is preparing to embark on an interstellar voyage. Those greedy interstellar pirates will never let go of this opportunity. As soon as these words came out, Zhongwen stood up suddenly. What? Is Yun Ruofeng planning to use her daughter as bait? If something happens to Yun Qinghan? Lord Cloud, are you taking too many risks? Unexpectedly, when Yun Ruofeng heard these words, he stared at Zhongwen closely. Finally, Yun Ruofeng said something. I believe in Chu Jiang's strength. Chu Jiang. When Zhongwen heard the name, he thought that Yun Ruofeng had hired Chu Jiang to escort his daughter. Is all this part of Yun Ruofeng's plan? Zhongwen immediately felt that there was a certain reason why Yun Ruofeng could reach his current position. On Chu Jiang's side, he also came to the largest interstellar market with Yun Qinghan. In this market, a large number of goods are sold. Whether it's shipbuilding materials or space food, everything is available. Chu Jiang also went straight to the space food area and purchased a large amount of space food. Seeing this scene, Yun Qinghan was also a little curious. Don't you go to the energy area to take a look first? If there is no energy during interstellar navigation, it will be a very fatal thing. Hearing this, Chu Jiang also waved his hand. Does he still need to worry about energy? What energy source is better than the solar core inside the Spear of Adun? Chapter 8, I'll stop after I finish this job. It can end #039, TB that unlucky. Please give me flowers. Outside the solar system, on an unknown planet. On this bare and desolate planet, dozens of starships are parked on the surface of the planet. Several interstellar pirates walked out of the starship wearing space combat uniforms. They also used the materials in their hands to start repairing their ships. Most of these interstellar pirates are composed of orcs, and the pirate leader is a werewolf race with a wolf head and a human body. Be smarter. Once all our ships are repaired, we will leave this hellish place. As he said that, the werewolf leader also spat in disgust. Some time has passed since they came to the periphery of the solar system. During this period, they also relied on their fleets to hijack caravans traveling between the solar system and other galaxies. Using the materials in the hands of these caravans, they also repaired the damage to their own fleet in the outer domain. This place is really extremely poor. After so many days of looting, it's not as good as what we gain in one day in the outside world. The werewolf leader also said with some disgust. In terms of resource richness, the solar system is really not as rich as the outer territories. The supplies transported by any caravan in the outer realm are enough to make them jealous. After hearing what the boss said, the younger brother also smiled. Boss, although these caravans don't have much profit, they are safe. Yes, boss, look at those fleets in the solar system. We have been robbing them for so many days without even finding us. If we were in the outer realm, by this time, those lunatics would have already started sending star destroyers to hunt us down. Before he finished speaking, the werewolf leader directly interrupted the words of these pirate boys. What can a bunch of good-for-nothing guys accomplish by staying in this remote place? If it weren't for my invisible stance, you would have been reduced to rubble by artillery fire. I have already found out clearly that the daughter of Lord Aurora will be passing through our galaxy today. After finishing this job, we will stop and go to the outer lands. My ambition should be to show my talents in the outer lands. The daughter of Lord Aurora. Upon hearing the news, the surrounding pirates instantly became excited. They know that this Aurora Star Lord is a powerful lord who owns the territory of 10 planets. If she kidnapped her daughter, she would definitely be able to knock out a lot of things. This can make money much faster than exploiting those merchant ships. Thinking of this, many interstellar pirates also became excited. During this period, frequent successful robberies also gave them a lot of confidence. In the starry sky at this time, the huge Spear of Adun was sailing in the endless sea of stars. Next to it, Yunqing Han's Fire Phoenix-class battleship looked extremely small. Chu Jiang was sitting in the driving seat of the bridge, always checking the surrounding situation. In the communication channel next to him, Yunqing Han looked at Chu Jiang looking like he was facing a formidable enemy and said with some disdain. Chu Jiang, we have just left the solar system, there is no need to be so nervous. We still have a long way to go in the future. If you keep your nerves tense like this, you can easily damage your body. Hearing these words, Chu Jiang was also a little bit dumbfounded. After all, he was paid by Yun Ruofeng to protect Yunqing Han. Yun Ruofeng also said that recently there was a group of interstellar pirates from the outside world wandering around the surrounding solar system. If you encounter those interstellar pirates, a fight between dragons and tigers is inevitable. Although Chu Jiang simulated thousands of Star Sea battles when he was at Blue Star Academy. But in terms of actual combat, he has never experienced it. I received your father's reward, so naturally I want to protect your safety. Hearing Chu Jiang's words, Yunqing Han was slightly startled at first. Afterwards, Yunqing Han also said a little arrogantly, who needs your protection anymore? My father likes to make small things serious. Interstellar pirates are interstellar pirates. Even if they come from outer lands, they are just a ragtag group. My Fire Phoenix-class battleships are the most powerful among all A-class battleships. And with the blessing of the ship's soul, those interstellar pirates are just a bunch of trash in front of me. As soon as these words were spoken, the Spear of Adun and the Fire Phoenix-class battleship sounded alarms at the same time. Warning, approaching space jump operation detected. Whoosh! A starship suddenly appeared in their field of vision. Immediately afterwards, more and more starships appeared in their world. In just one breath, dozens of ships had already surrounded the Spear of Adun and Fire Phoenix-class battleships. Chu Jiang observed carefully and found that the hulls of these starships also had uniform paintings. These coatings also reveal their identities. The fleet in front of me should be the pirate fleet that has caused a lot of commotion in the solar system recently. The boss of the outlaw pirate group, the werewolf leader, was also slightly startled after seeing the Spear of Adun. Their men also tracked the signal of the Fire Phoenix-class battleship, so they decisively reported it to them. Therefore, they did not hesitate to make a space jump and arrived in front of the Fire Phoenix-class battleship. "Boss, what type of starship is this? Why haven't I encountered it before? Oh my god, why is this starship so big? Even the aircraft carrier is not worth mentioning in front of it. What's going on? Why is there such a big starship next to this Fire Phoenix-class battleship?" At this moment, the werewolf leader was also unable to dismount. Originally, they saw the signal of only one ship next to the Fire Phoenix-class battleship, and thought it was the frigate of the Fire Phoenix-class battleship. They have dozens of ships fighting against 2 ships, what's the point of being cowardly? Who would have thought that when they jumped over in space and saw the appearance of the Spear of Adun, they couldn't help but swallow a gulp of saliva? What are you afraid of? No matter how big this ship is, it is just a ship. When the fight starts soon, we will focus on this big starship. I don't believe it can withstand it. No matter how powerful the ship is, it will be smashed into scrap metal under the concentrated fire of dozens of ships. With the leader's words, many interstellar pirates who were still in a panic calmed down. And Yun Qinghan was sitting in the bridge with a solemn expression. "Chu Jiang, these interstellar pirates are probably coming for me. You stabilize them first, I have sent a distress signal. This place is not far from the solar system. The patrol fleet of the Solar Federation will definitely come to rescue us after receiving the signal. Before that, you need to stabilize these pirates first. Even if you are an S-class starship, you will not be able to withstand the concentrated fire of dozens of starships." Yun Qinghan also quickly calmed down and formulated a series of strategies. But at this time, Chu Jiang's voice came from the communication channel. Late. Chapter 9, in the blink of an eye it was all gone. I didn't say you could leave. Please give me flow. What? Before Yun Qinghan could react, he saw a dazzling light shining under the Spear of Adun. The moment they saw this light, the interstellar pirates on the opposite side were also stunned. Damn it, this kid doesn't have martial ethics and is carrying out a sneak attack. All ships prepare to avoid attack. The werewolf leader shouted, and all the ships under the crazy pirates immediately entered a defensive posture. But the next second, a scorching light fell directly into their fleet. Brush. The light passed directly through the body of a starship. The next second, the starship was cut into 2 halves. Boom. Accompanied by a dazzling firelight rising in the universe. For a moment, everyone was stunned. Instant kill. Their energy shields and ship armor were like paper in front of that light, being easily cut open. Is this gone? Yun Qinghan couldn't believe his eyes. You know, a starship has 2 layers of defense, energy shield and ship armor. Even if they are starships of the same level, it will take some time for the 2 to break through the defenses. But Chu Jiang's Spear of Adun directly cut the opposite starship in half with just 1 ray. Such terrifying power made Yun Qinghan take a breath of air. Is this the power of the S-class starship? She originally thought that the difference between S-class starships and A-class starships was not that big. But today, after truly seeing the power of the S-class starship, she realized how wrong she was. In the bridge of the Spear of Adun, Chu Jiang was also looking at the screen in front of him. Ding, the solar ray has successfully hit the target, please lock the target again. If a fixed target cannot be selected within the specified time, the solar ray will start to automatically search for the enemy system. Automatically search for enemies. Chu Jiang thought to himself, he didn't expect the weapon on the Spear of Adun to be so powerful. Just a solar ray actually cut a starship in half. The most important thing is that the solar ray can select 3 targets with each shot. In other words, every time he attacks, he takes away 3 enemy starships. While Chu Jiang was still thinking, the Spear of Adun also activated the automatic enemy detection system. Automatic enemy detection system starts. The 2 most recent targets have been selected. Whoosh. Whoosh. 2 solar rays burst out instantly. The 2 locked starships didn't even react and were cut in half by the solar rays. Boom. 2 more starships exploded. Now, even the werewolf leader couldn't sit still. Damn it. What on earth is this starship about? Everyone, focus your fire to attack the largest starship. They all came here through space jump, and now it's useless even if they want to escape. Now, we can only fight to the death with Chu Jiang. Besides, they have dozens of starships here. There are only 2 starships on the opposite side. In terms of numbers, they have the advantage. For a time, all the pirate starships were on full fire. They also know very well that if this starship is not dealt with, the next laser beam might fall on their heads. Immediately afterwards, a large number of artillery attacked Chu Jiang like a heavy rain. And Chu Jiang was sitting in the bridge, his eyes slightly narrowed. I saw him controlling the Spear of Adun and arriving in the sky above the Yunqinghan Fire Phoenix-class battleship. Chu Jiang, what do you want to do? Yunqinghan saw an entrance appearing at the bottom of the Spear of Adun. And this entrance can just accommodate his Fire Phoenix-class battleship. With such an intensive artillery attack, I have no way to guarantee that you won't be killed by the concentrated fire of those interstellar pirates. You can hide inside my ship for a while, and when I deal with these pirates, it won't be too late for you to come out. Hearing these words, Yunqinghan was a little reluctant. But at this time, she could no longer tolerate her willfulness. So, she also accepted Chu Jiang's suggestion. The Spear of Adun swallowed the Fire Phoenix-class battleship into its belly. With the size of the Spear of Adon, it was more than enough to park a battleship in its body. The Fire Phoenix-class battleship was anchored in the Spear of Adun, and Yunqinghan also walked out of the battleship. When she saw the inside of the Spear of Adun, she couldn't help but feel extremely shocked. With such a huge internal space, not to mention its own battleship, even if an aircraft carrier comes, the Spear of Adun can easily swallow it. And Chu Jiang also received the prompt that the Fire Phoenix-class battleship entered the Spear of Adun. Now, I don't have anything to worry about. Chu Jiang waved his hand and raised the corners of his mouth slightly. It's time to test the true strength of the Spear of Adun. Activate all fire weapons. Outside the Spear of Adun, numerous interstellar pirates launched attacks one after another. The endless artillery fire almost drowned the Spear of Adun. With such powerful firepower, other starships would have been bombarded into a pile of scrap metal by this time. But the flames dissipated, and the Spear of Adun still stood there intact. Even the energy shield on the surface still exudes holy brilliance. Seeing this scene, many interstellar pirates panicked. Oh no, boss, this starship is so evil. We have been bombarding for 3 rounds. My ship's ammunition is all empty. We haven't even broken the energy shield on the opposite side. No, boss, the defense on the other side is as hard as a tortoise shell. If this continues, the Sun Federation's fleet will come over. Our space engines have cooled down and can make space jumps and retreat at any time. After hearing the advice of his younger brothers, the werewolf leader also wiped his hands with cold sweat. His eyes fell on the huge body of the Spear of Adun, and he secretly thought in his heart. How could such a monster suddenly appear in the solar system? Now he was in a dilemma. The concentrated fire just now also showed that their attacks had no effect on the Spear of Adun. He has been wandering around in the outer world for so many years, but he has never encountered such a troublesome guy. Thinking of this, the werewolf leader also waved his hand. Prepare to retreat. They've been delayed here long enough. If the stalemate continues like this, once the Sun Federation's fleet surrounds them, they won't be able to escape. He doesn't want to end up here. When Chu Jiang, who was sitting on the bridge, saw the pirate starship preparing to retreat, he also showed a sarcastic smile. I haven't said you can leave yet. For a moment, densely packed turrets also rose on the deck of the Spear of Adun. Even 2 giant cannons appeared on both sides of the ship. Such terrifying firepower, in the eyes of those interstellar pirates, was as terrifying as the death talisman of the King of Hell. Chapter 10, Fuse strikes with firepower. Are you okay? No, it's about to attack. What are you doing standing still? Run. Don't rush me, I'm already preparing for the space jump. For a time, many interstellar pirates were in chaos. When they saw the densely packed turrets on the Spear of Adun, their courage was shattered. What kind of monster is this ship? Not only is the defense so terrifying, but even the fire system on the body is so terrifying. But at this time, how could Chu Jiang give them a chance to escape? With full force. Emission. Rumble. For a moment, the Spear of Adun opened fire, and the endless artillery fire spread around like stars in the sky. These artillery fires intertwined a large firepower net in the air. With such terrifying firepower, Those interstellar pirates felt their scalps go numb just by seeing it. At this time, Yun Qinghan also happened to come to the corridor. When she saw the scene in front of her through the skylight, she couldn't help but widen her eyes. Rumble. The rolling flames swept across the starry sky like a tsunami. All the ships of the outlaw pirates were almost instantly devoured by the terrifying firepower of the Spear of Adun. Whether it's defense or firepower, the Spear of Adun is infinitely more powerful than my Fire Phoenix-class battleship. At this moment, Yun Qinghan was completely shocked by the scene in front of him. This scene once again refreshed her understanding of S-class starships. The flames dissipated, and the many pirate starships that had gathered together disappeared. All that was left in place were piles of scrap metal floating in the starry sky. After a round of artillery bombardment, the entire pirate group was wiped out. This is the powerful strength of the S-class starship, the Spear of Adun. However, Chu Jiang, who was operating the Spear of Adun in the bridge at the moment, did not relax. Ship thermal energy response detected. Sure enough. I found you. Chu Jiang had long heard Yun Ruofeng say that the flagship of this pirate fleet was a B-class starship with an invisible stance. Without seeing it being destroyed with his own eyes, Chu Jiang would not let down his guard easily. Sure enough, under the detection of the powerful enemy detection system of the Spear of Adun, that B-class starship also showed some flaws. However, what Chu Jiang admired a little was, even the Spear of Adun only detects the thermal energy reaction coordinates of the ship before it enters the invisible position, and cannot accurately locate the specific coordinates of the starship. The starship's soul seems to have the ability to block any signal. No wonder the Sun Federation has never arrested him. At this time, Yun Qinghan also came to the bridge and saw Chu Jiang sitting in the command position. Chu Jiang, have all those interstellar pirates been dealt with? Chu Jiang glanced at Yun Qinghan and told her the truth. Most of the pirates should have been dealt with, but their leader escaped. His ship has a stealth position, blocking all signals, and its specific location cannot be detected at all. Hearing these words, Yun Qinghan also frowned. The pirate leader was actually able to escape from the fire bombardment of the Spear of Adon. It seemed that his father was right. None of the pirates who could survive in the outer world were fuel efficient. However, Yun Qinghan glanced at the ship fragments suspended in space and thought to himself, most of the ships in this pirate fleet have been destroyed by Chu Jiang. Even if the pirate leader escapes, he will probably not be able to cause any trouble in the future. Just when Yun Qinghan was thinking this, Chu Jiang said very calmly, it doesn't matter, as long as you have the general location. Spear of Adun, lock on the last detected coordinates. Carry out firebombing with this coordinate as the center. Starting firebombing mode. For a time, all the forts were aimed at the same place. In the void at this moment, the werewolf leader was sitting on the bridge with an embarrassed look on his face. He looked around and saw that his ship was on the verge of collapse. If he hadn't activated his invisible stance in time, he might have turned into a pile of space junk. Very good, I remember you. When I come back, I will definitely make you pay the price. The werewolf leader looked at the Spear of Adun fiercely, as if he wanted to carve its appearance deeply into his mind. But at this moment, bad news sounded from the ship control panel in front of him. Warning, a large amount of heat source is detected approaching. What? When the werewolf leader turned back again, he couldn't help but be shocked by the sight in front of him. Artillery all over the sky appeared in the starry sky like stars, and a large number of missiles and artillery came towards him like a heavy rain. No. Boom. The endless flames directly swallowed it up, so what if it was invisible? Chu Jiang directly used firepower to end the criminal life of the crazy pirate group. When Chu Jiang saw the ship's soul rising from the starry sky and finally blending into the starry sky, he was sure that the last flagship on the opposite side had also been eliminated by him. Once the starship is destroyed, the ship's soul in the starship will also disappear. Next, is the part of collecting the loot that everyone loves to see. Chu Jiang confiscated a treasure chest from the flagship of the outlaw pirate group. This treasure chest was still intact despite the bombardment of artillery fire. So Chu Jiang also confiscated it. After a lot of effort, I successfully opened the treasure chest. But when Chu Jiang opened the treasure box, his expression changed. Because in the huge box, apart from some star coins, there was only one astrolabe. Tisk, didn't you say that these guys are interstellar pirates from the outside world? That's all the property is. Yun Qinghan, who was next to him, took the astrolabe and said, how could these interstellar pirates put everything on themselves? I think the coordinates recorded on this astrolabe should be where they hide the treasure. Chu Jiang glanced at the coordinates on the astrolabe, and one of the coordinates was not too far away from them. So Chu Jiang also took the astrolabe. It just so happens that this coordinate is not far from us. How about we get the treasures of these pirates first, and then go to Vulcan? No problem, I'm not in a hurry anyway. Chu Jiang and Yun Qinghan also hit it off and planned to find the treasure left by the crazy pirate group first. But at this moment, the Spear of Adun suddenly received a communication signal. Chu Jiang took a look and saw that the communication signal was from the Sun Federation and was connected directly. After the signal was connected, Zhong En's anxious face came into view. Chu Jiang. Are you okay? We'll be there soon, hold on. Chapter 11, Are you done now? The treasure of Kalos, the fleet of the Federation of the Sun. Yun Qinghan also breathed a sigh of relief after seeing Zhong En's face. The support from the Sun Federation has finally arrived. But then, Yun Qinghan looked at the ship fragments suspended in space, and couldn't help but smile bitterly in his heart. Now even if these Sun Federation ships arrive, they will be of little use. In fact, less than an hour had passed since the signal was received from the Sun Federation. In an interstellar war, this kind of support speed is definitely considered fast. After all, the two are separated by several galaxies, so being able to support them as soon as possible is considered a feat of the Sun Federation's military speed. But no matter how fast they are not as fast as Chu Jiang in annihilating enemies. Even now Yun Qinghan feels exaggerated when he sees these ship fragments suspended in space. Unexpectedly, Chu Jiang's S-class starship is so powerful. Just one person annihilated the interstellar pirate fleet organized by dozens of ships. Whoosh! 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 At this moment, a large number of Sun Federation starships appeared in the starry sky. Zhong En's Quangtao-class battleship took the lead and came here first. Following closely behind was Yun Ruofeng's Aurora fleet, and Yun Ruofeng's aircraft carrier was even more oppressive. The moment it appeared, countless swarms of fighter jets attacked like swarms of bees. However, when they saw the scene around them, they couldn't help but froze. I saw Chu Jiang's Spear of Adun suspended in space, and the wreckage of the ship was everywhere around it. What exactly is going on? Didn't it mean that they were attacked by a group of crazy pirates? Where's the outlaw pirates? Why didn't I see it? What's the situation with the starship wreckage around here? Is there a possibility that Chu Jiang and the others have annihilated the mad pirates? For a moment, Zhong En was silent. Even Yun Ruofeng was stunned. Are these starship wrecks the starships of the outlaw pirates? They observed carefully and found that the paint on the wreckage of these starships was the logo of the outlaw pirates. In other words, Chu Jiang and Yun Qinghan annihilated the entire pirate fleet. Waiting for this result, both Zhong En and Yun Ruofeng couldn't believe it. This is an entire pirate fleet, consisting of dozens of starships. And most starships have powerful firepower systems. If an ordinary starship is attacked by dozens of ships, it will be reduced to rubbish in minutes. But the Spear of Adun is standing here intact, without even any damage. Wait a minute, Qinghan, where is your Fire Phoenix-class battleship? At this time, Yun Ruofeng also discovered that Yun Qinghan's Fire Phoenix-class battleship was missing. Could it be that Yun Qinghan's Fire Phoenix-class battleship had been destroyed in the battle just now? If this is really the case, wouldn't Yun Qinghan's future be ruined? You know, a person can only awaken the ship's soul once in his life. If the starship is destroyed and the ship's soul returns to the Star Sea, if you want to summon the ship's soul again, you will have to pay a price that is unimaginable for ordinary people. In an instant, Yun Ruofeng even showed a series of scenes of trying to make up for Yun Qinghan's misfortune. But at this moment, Yun Qinghan's words directly interrupted Yun Ruofeng's random thoughts. Father, don't worry, my Fire Phoenix-class battleship is now moored in the cabin of the Spear of Adun. Before the war started, Chu Jiang had already protected my Fire Phoenix-class battleship, so there is nothing to worry about now. Hearing these words, Zhong En's eyes also lit up. Can other starships be accommodated in the cabin of the Spear of Adun? However, seeing the huge system of the Spear of Adun, Zhong En's doubts were self-evident. The annihilation of the mad pirates was all due to Chu Jiang and had nothing to do with me. Yun Qinghan did not share Chu Jiang's contribution. If it were not for Chu Jiang's protection, she would not be much better off now. Therefore, Yun Qinghan was also very self-aware and reported the situation truthfully. Many Sun Federation soldiers looked at the ruins of many starships and reminded them. Lord, what should we do next? Now that the outlaw pirates have been annihilated, there's no point in them staying here. Zhong'an and Yun Ruofeng also looked at each other when they saw this, and finally Zhong'an coughed dryly. Chu Jiang, this time you annihilated the mad pirates, which can be regarded as solving a trouble for the Sun Federation. So, in order to reward you, the Sun Federation will transfer a bounty of 5 million to your account. 5 million star coins. Chu Jiang was also delighted when he heard that there was a reward. Unexpectedly, in addition to the treasures of the mad pirates, he also had other unexpected gains. Chu Jiang also expressed his gratitude to Zhong'an. Zhong'an and others were also sensible and did not ask Chu Jiang if he had obtained any trophies from the fanatic pirate group. In just his debut battle, Chu Jiang annihilated an interstellar pirate fleet from the outside world. This was enough for Zhong'an and Yun Ruofeng to see his terrifying growth potential. For this kind of genius monster, they can only be friends with each other and not have any enemies with him. The Sun Federation fleet and Aurora Star fleet came here aggressively, but left very calmly. They never expected that Chu Jiang alone could annihilate dozens of interstellar pirate ships. After many ships left, Yun Qinghan couldn't wait to come to Chu Jiang's side. Hurry up. They're all gone, let's go treasure hunting. Yun Qinghan was very interested in treasure hunting. The reason why she chose interstellar navigation was not just to find unknown treasures in the endless sea of stars. Now, there is a treasure placed in front of her. She could no longer contain the excitement in her heart. Seeing this, Chu Jiang couldn't help but smile. Unexpectedly, Goddess Yun, who was aloof at Blue Star Academy, would have such a side. Aren't you going to return to your starship? Hearing Chu Jiang's words, Yun Qinghan snorted. What? Are you driving people away now? Anyway, your cabin is more than enough to accommodate an aircraft carrier. My little battleship shouldn't take up much of your position. Seeing Yun Qinghan's arrogant look, Chu Jiang also smiled. At the beginning, he had also thought about letting Yun Qinghan park the Fire Phoenix-class battleship in his cabin. Put it down when you get to the Vulcan galaxy. But at first Yun Qinghan was very resistant and refused to do anything. Now the attitude has changed 180 degrees. Chu Jiang did not pursue the matter any further. He opened the interface for the Spear of Adun. Preparing to start the space jump system. Setting the next destination, Philo Galaxy, Planet Carlos. Chapter 12, Know Your Pilots, They Are Like Ghosts, Whoosh. Along with a stream of light, it lit up around the star Kalos. The figure of the Spear of Adun also appeared around the planet Kalos. Looking at the green planet in front of him, Chu Jiang also reminded Yun Qinghan beside him. We have arrived at Kalos. With that said, Chu Jiang also put on his own portable space suit. The oxygen content on the planet Carlos is only about 1/10 of that of the blue star. If you don't wear a spacesuit to enter the planet Kalos, ordinary humans won't be able to hold on for long. Fortunately, Blue Star's technology is now extremely advanced. The lightest spacesuit will form a thin layer when worn on the body, and movement will not be hindered by the spacesuit at all. Are we there yet? Yun Qinghan looked at the Carlos star in front of him, and then said to Chu Jiang, there may be some pirate remnants where the treasure is hidden, so be careful. How could Chu Jiang not take this situation into consideration? Chu Jiang clapped his hands, and the hatch behind him opened. A group of elite pilots wearing various equipment, also holding firearms, stood behind them. The first team has been assembled. Please give the captain the order. Looking at these well-trained pilot warriors in front of him, Yun Qinghan was extremely shocked. She didn't know where Chu Jiang found these elite soldiers. Just standing here, these pilot warriors can give people a strong sense of oppression. Although Yun Qinghan also has his own ship escort, compared with these pilots, it is not even a bit inferior. Get ready, let's get ready to land. Such a huge system as the Spear of Adun would definitely not be able to land on the surface of Kalos. They need to drive the spaceship that comes with the Spear of Adun and land on the surface of Kalos. Not long after, everyone also landed on the surface of Carlos' planet in a spaceship. The treasure hiding place of the outlaw pirates is right ahead. After taking a look at the coordinates, Chu Jiang also determined the location of the treasure. Looking in the direction Chu Jiang pointed, they saw an abandoned observation station also appearing in their field of vision. Some of these observatories were built by the Solar Federation. However, after the Solar Federation later determined that Kalos was a worthless planet, all personnel at the observatory were evacuated. In the end, the abandoned observatory was left alone. After being exposed to the wind and sun, the observation station in front of us was already rusty. Chu Jiang and Yun Qinghan also walked straight towards the observation station. When they arrived at the observation station, they also checked the surroundings and found no trace of the remaining pirates. Yun Qinghan came to a huge container and took a look at the lock on the container. Boom. The next second, she took out her thermal pistol and shot the lock open. When the container is opened, what comes into view is a large amount of energy ore. These energy ores were originally transported by the Sun Federation caravan, but now they have been hijacked by the crazy pirate group. After going round and round, it is now in Chu Jiang's hands again. Ding, a location where you can sign in has been detected, Carlos Star. This sign-in will take 24 hours. Do you want to sign in? Chu Jiang didn't expect that he would trigger the God-level sign-in system at this time. Sign in, why not sign in? Make a decisive choice. Chu Jiang watched the progress bar begin to squirm and thought to himself. Fortunately, this time the sign-in only takes 24 hours. If like Blue Star, it takes a year to sign in, it will be too much for me. Chu Jiang, we sent it. I just took inventory, and there are about 10,000 units of energy ore here alone. If you put these energy ores on the market, you can make at least 5 million in profit. Yun Qinghan looked excited. She didn't expect these crazy pirate groups to be so rich. This is only the value of energy ore. There are many other goods in other containers. However, the types of these goods were too complex, and even Yun Qinghan could not calculate their value. Chu Jiang glanced at Yun Qinghan, who was extremely excited, and poured cold water on her without mercy. Correct me, it wasn't us who posted it, it was me who posted it. Superficial. I still look down on this small amount of money. At this moment, while the two were still bickering, on the hill in the distance, a group of orcs in pirate costumes were observing them with binoculars. These half-orcs are the remnants of the crazy pirate group. Some time ago, the orc captain was unable to contact the flagship of the mad pirates. So, he also felt something was wrong. Their leader was probably caught by those guys from the Sun Federation. Just in case, they also established a small camp around the observation station to hide themselves. If the Sun Federation's troops come to Kalos, they will be sure that the majority of the troops have been killed by the Sun Federation. In this case, they will run away immediately. But they never expected that the Sun Federation did not come, but a young boy and a young girl came over. Captain, what should we do next? Since these two guys were able to find this place, they must have obtained the boss's astrolabe, otherwise they would not have been able to find this place so accurately. Should we arrest these two guys and interrogate the boss? If there are only two people, the number of people on our side can easily crush them. At this time, the half-orc captain was also tangled in his heart. He can't contact the werewolf leader now, and he still doesn't know what happened to the werewolf leader. If the werewolf leader dies, there is nothing wrong with escaping with the treasure. But if the werewolf leader is still alive and escapes with the treasure, once he is discovered, his subordinates will definitely rebel. The best way now is to catch these two guys, Chu Jiang and Yun Qinghan. Since they were able to come here, they must have obtained the astrolabe of the werewolf leader. They must know the whereabouts of the werewolf leader. After thinking for a moment, the half-orc captain also picked up the electric energy rifle under him. Catch these two guys first. Since these two guys can find this place, they must also know the whereabouts of the boss. It's just two people. We have hundreds of people here. It's more than enough to deal with them. Thinking of this, the half-orc captain also stood up first. But at this moment, the half-orc captain found that there was silence around him, and none of his men responded to him. The half-orc captain frowned, "You guys." The next second, A black barrel was pressed against his head. Chapter 13, I've tried everything. News from the old human empire. You, who are you? The half-orc captain's face turned pale at this moment. Looking around, he found that all of his men had guns held to their heads. The interstellar pirate, who was originally so fierce, was now like a quail, crawling on the ground and trembling. The leading pilot warrior did not answer the orc's question. Through the communication system, Pilot also reported the situation here to Chu Jiang. Reporting to the captain, we found a group of pirates hiding 1,000 meters away from the observation station. Good, bring these guys back. In the observation station, Chu Jiang also showed a happy smile. Ever since he arrived at this observation station, he had felt something was wrong. There are many containers in this observation station, but no one is guarding such a huge amount of goods. Moreover, there were obvious traces of people living in the observatory, but no other living utensils were found. There are various signs that someone was originally stationed here. But later, for some reason, the observation station was evacuated. Although these energy ores in the observatory are valuable, the most precious things must have been taken away by those guys. Thinking of this, Chu Jiang also came up with this method. He deliberately asked the pilots to disperse and explore the surroundings, creating the illusion that only he and Yun Qinghan were here. As expected, these pirates are very cunning. After losing contact with the fleet, the observation station was immediately withdrawn and a temporary small camp was established nearby to observe the situation of the observation station. However, no matter how cautious they are, in front of the powerful pilot, he is completely vulnerable. The pilot's equipment allows him to become temporarily invisible, allowing him to lurk among these pirates and subdue them. For them, it is just a simple matter. Thump. The orc captain was thrown directly in front of Chu Jiang. The disgraced orc captain looked up at Chu Jiang, feeling horrified in his heart. Who is this blue star human being? He actually has such an elite unit under his command. He has also seen the troops of the Federation of the Sun, although those soldiers are strong. But compared to the pilot in front of me, there is a huge difference. The aura emanating from these pilots made the orc captain feel suffocated. Chu Jiang glanced at the half-orc captain and was convinced that this guy had a certain relationship with the mad pirates. Next, I hope you can answer the questions I asked truthfully. After saying that, Chu Jiang took out his firearm. With a click, the bullet was loaded. The half-orc captain also felt a thump in his heart. Uncle, just ask, I will answer truthfully. In order to survive, the orc captain threw all the dignity and moral integrity behind him. And Chu Jiang didn't talk nonsense and got straight to the point. How many people are there in your pirate group now? Your Majesty, we are the only one with 105 people stationed on the Kalos planet. The others have followed the large army. We are just a left-behind force. Hearing this answer, Chu Jiang understood. I saw him waving his hand, and seeing Chu Jiang waving his hand, the orc captain suddenly had an ominous premonition. Boom. 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 Following a series of gunshots, bodies fell to the ground one after another. Of the last 105 garrison troops, the orc captain is the only one left. The orc captain's face was pale, and cold sweat broke out from his back. Chu Jiang said very calmly, I can tell you responsibly that your entire army has been wiped out. And now, you are the only one left in the entire group of crazy pirates. Then next, tell me, where is the most valuable thing about this observatory? Don't tell me, these energy ores and goods are your most precious things. As a pirate organization from the outside world, I don't believe you would put these things in the observation station. If only these energy ores and goods. For the crazy pirates, they are simply not worth mentioning. They can definitely take this kind of thing with them. However, the leader of the crazy pirates secretly hid something on the planet Kalos. And we also arranged for a garrison to stay behind. Therefore, under the cover of these energy ores, there must be other more important things. This thing is so important that the leader of the crazy pirate group dare not put it on him casually. Thinking of this, Chu Jiang also set his sights on the orc captain opposite. The orc captain was also frightened by Chu Jiang's methods. I'll recruit them all. That thing is on me. Please, don't kill me. Hearing these words, Chu Jiang also winked. A pilot next to him also began to search for the orc captain. Sure enough, not long after, a black box was also found. Chu Jiang took the box and opened it, only to see a crystal fragment lying inside. "Is this the most precious thing you said?" Seeing that Chu Jiang's face was a little unhappy, the orc captain quickly began to explain. "Sir, please don't underestimate this crystal shard. It is because of this crystal shard that our gangster pirate group was hunted down to the solar system. This crystal fragment is actually a guiding sign. As long as you inject energy into it, it can guide you in a direction. And this crystal fragment is rumored to be a relic of the old human empire." A relic of the old human empire. This was the first time Chu Jiang heard the term old human empire. He looked at Yun Qinghan, who was aside, and Yun Qinghan frowned slightly. "I heard my father say something about the old human empire. It is said that humans were prosperous tens of millions of years ago. At that time, humans, under the leadership of the emperor, conquered the entire galaxy. But for unknown reasons later on, the old human empire quickly perished and eventually disappeared into the endless sea of stars. The reason why our blue stars technology is developing rapidly is because of the technology left behind by the old human empire." After listening to Yun Qinghan's explanation, Chu Jiang also looked at the crystal fragments in the black box in front of him. This small crystal fragment is actually a relic of the old human empire. The half-orc captain and Chu Jiang became interested and quickly added, "I heard that the place where this crystal fragment ultimately guided was the place where the old human empire's Glory Queen-class battleship fell." Chapter 14, S-Class Glory Queen-class battleship. Sign into Phoenix Fighter, Glory Queen-class battleship. Hearing this name, Chu Jiang also became interested. The orc captain opposite also said quickly, "This Glory Queen-class battleship is a genuine S-Class starship. Besides us, there are many people who have obtained this crystal fragment. Crystal fragments will attract each other. Whoever gathers more crystal fragments will get more specific coordinates. Because of this, we are being hunted by others." After hearing these words, Chu Jiang was also shocked. This Glory Queen-class battleship is actually an S-Class starship. I didn't expect that this small crystal fragment actually contained such a huge amount of information. Chu Jiang collected the crystal fragments, and the other party also said that only by collecting more crystal fragments can more specific information be obtained. If you keep this crystal fragment yourself, you might encounter other crystal fragments. In this case, I might be able to obtain the specific coordinates of the Glory Queen-class battleship in the end. That was an S-Class battleship, so I had no reason not to be tempted." When the orc captain saw Chu Jiang putting away the crystal fragments, he quickly kowtowed and begged for mercy. "Sir, I have already finished explaining everything I need to explain. I promise not to tell anything about what's going on here. Just treat me like a fart." The half-orc captain also begged. But at this moment, Chu Jiang showed a smile. When he saw Chu Jiang's smile, the orc captain's face suddenly turned pale. Because he noticed a hint of coldness in Chu Jiang's smile. Only a dead man keeps secrets. Boom. After a gunshot, the last member of the crazy pirate group was completely eliminated by Chu Jiang. In this way, Chu Jiang doesn't have to worry about anything. Load these energy ores onto the spaceship and transport them back to the Spear of Adun. After dealing with the last remaining pirates, Chu Jiang felt a lot more relaxed. At this time, Yun Qinghan also came to Chu Jiang. "Chu Jiang, do you really plan to keep that crystal fragment with you?" Although this crystal fragment is related to the news about the S-Class battleship, the orc also said that the crystal fragments will attract each other. Even the outlaw pirates are being hunted down because of this crystal shard. Isn't it very dangerous for you to hold this crystal shard? Yun Qinghan's worries are not unreasonable. After all, the outlaw pirates fled the solar system as a result. If they hold this crystal shard, the holders of other crystal shards may come looking for them at any time. Facing Yun Qinghan's advice, Chu Jiang also patted her on the shoulder. "Don't worry, I'm not comparable to those little minions in the crazy pirate group. If there are crystal holders who dare to come to the door, it will save me the trouble of looking for them. No matter what happens, I can destroy the crystal fragments directly and escape with the help of the Spear of Adun." Now that he has awakened and collected the crystal fragments, Chu Jiang must have made a series of plans. Looking at Chu Jiang's confident eyes, Yun Qinghan also understood. Chu Jiang is different from himself, he is the owner of Blue Star's first S-Class ship Soul. She had clearly seen the powerful combat power of the Spear of Adun before. Even if those crystal holders wanted to deal with Chu Jiang, it would probably take a lot of effort. No, why should I worry about this guy? Yun Qinghan shook his head to get rid of the chaotic thoughts in his mind. At this time, the Spear of Adun also sent out a large number of spaceships one after another. Many transport drones also transported materials from the observation station to the Spear of Adun. Chu Jiang found an excuse to stay on the surface of Carlo's planet and continue to sign in. Finally, Chu Jiang saw that the progress bar had reached the end. Ding, you signed in successfully, congratulations on getting 1,000 Phoenix fighter jets. The sign-in reward this time is actually 1,000 Phoenix fighter jets. The Phoenix fighter is an agile and extremely lethal spacecraft. Among all the Protoss aerial units, its flexibility is the most powerful. These 1,000 Phoenix fighter planes can actually increase one's combat power. However, the sign-in rewards this time are obviously not as generous as the previous Blue Star sign-in rewards. After all, it took a year to sign in for Blue Star. After signing in, Chu Jiang returned to the ship. After returning to the Spear of Adun, Chu Jiang also went straight to the bridge. In the bridge, Yun Qinghan had been waiting for a long time. Next, we should go to the Vulcan Galaxy. When I arrive in the Vulcan Galaxy, my mission will be completed. Chu Jiang has not forgotten that his most important task at the moment is to send Yun Qinghan to the Vulcan star system. Hearing these words, Yun Qinghan didn't speak. The space jump is ready. Setting the destination, Vulcan Galaxy, Artisan Star. Whoosh! The Spear of Adun turned into a stream of light and disappeared. But not long after the Spear of Adun left the Kalos star, the space around the Kalos star was also distorted. Immediately afterwards, an A-class battleship appeared around Kalos. Reporting to the Lord, we have detected the energy residue of crystal fragments on the surface of Carlos star. However, the crystal fragments are no longer on the surface of Carlos star. They seem to have been taken away by someone. Upon hearing these words, a strange creature wearing a black robe stretched out several green tentacles and looked very angry. If Chu Jiang were here, he would definitely recognize him. The strange-looking creature in front of me is the famous Forest Spirit clan in the Star Sea. All creatures of the Forest Spirit tribe are composed of plants, so the Forest Spirit tribe generally lives in places with particularly lush plant communities. In front of me, this strange creature is a leader of the Forest Spirit clan. The crystal fragments in the hands of the crazy pirate group were originally his. Because it was hijacked by the crazy pirates during the transportation, the crystal fragments fell into the hands of the crazy pirates. In order to recover the fragments, it chased it directly from the outer domain to the solar system. As a result, they finally detected the location of the crystal fragments, but when they rushed over, they missed it. Damn it. Keep chasing me. That crystal fragment is a treasure that I plan to dedicate to the Forest Spirit King. If we can't recover it within the stipulated time, the Forest Spirit King will never let us go. The Forest Spirit King is the supreme ruler of the Forest Spirit clan. If you offend him, you can imagine the consequences. Chapter 15, Craftsman Star. I have no interest in these despicable races. Vulcan Galaxy, Craftsman Star. Craftsman Star is a famous existence in the areas around the solar system. The reason why it is called the Artisan Star is because there is a group of strange races called the Huona tribe living on it. This race possesses extremely superb ship forging technology, as well as ship repair technology. Many forces regard Artisan Star as a transit point. Ships can be maintained and upgraded here. Sometimes, there are even organizations that hire Huona people to go to their territories to build starships. Over time, the planet where the Huona tribe lived was also called the Craftsman Star. Whoosh! In the starry sky, a stream of light rushed past. The huge size of the Spear of Adun also appeared in the starry sky. The ships coming and going couldn't help but gasp after seeing the figure of the Spear of Adun. Hell, it's such a big starship. What type of ship is it? Even an aircraft carrier can only be said to be dwarfed by it. Whose big shot ship is this? Among all the planet lords I know, no one should have such a huge starship. The Spear of Adun also drove directly into the starport of the Artisan Star. In order to better manufacture and repair starships, the Huona tribe has transformed almost half of the territory on the planet into starports. Because of this, even the Spear of Adun can be parked in the starport of the Artisan Star. When the Spear of Adun was anchored in the starport, it also attracted the attention of many Huonu boatmen. They have never seen such a huge starship in their lives. Chu Jiang also released the Fire Phoenix-class battleship from the cabin. At this point, Chu Jiang's mission has been completed. We're here. The mission your father gave me has been completed. Chu Jiang stepped off the ship and looked at the prosperous planet in front of him. Every interstellar voyager that sets out from the solar system will definitely stay on the Craftsman star for a period of time. On the Artisan star, most interplanetary voyagers will choose to recruit a few Honan ship engineers. Then customize some spare parts to prevent accidents during interstellar navigation. But Chu Jiang doesn't have to worry about this. There are many Protoss sleeping in the cabin of the Spear of Adun. Among these Protoss tribes, there are many Protoss technicians who are proficient in ship maintenance technicians. Those Huonu engineers may not know the Spear of Adun better than the Protoss technicians. And Yun Qinghan also walked out of the Fire Phoenix-class battleship. When she saw Chu Jiang for the first time, she immediately spoke. After leaving the Vulcan galaxy, where do you plan to go? After Chu Jiang thought for a moment, he answered truthfully. I plan to go to the Whirlpool Galaxy. Doesn't the Whirlpool Galaxy have a star gate? If you use the star gate to travel to the outer realm, you should be able to save a lot of time. After all, Chu Jiang's most important task now is to find Holy Terra. And Yun Qinghan was a little surprised when he heard that Chu Jiang was going to the outside world. Going to Outland. Although the Outland is full of opportunities, it is also full of infinite unknown dangers. Before you are strong enough, entering the outer realm is simply seeking death. Are you so anxious to go to the Outlands? The Star Sea races in the outer realm are not very good. I heard my father say that most of the Star Sea races in the outer realm are extremely arrogant. For a little resource, the two outer Star Sea races often fight fiercely. You don't have a stable fleet yet, so you should develop it in the inner domain first. Yun Qinghan also sincerely admonished Chu Jiang, but Chu Jiang just smiled and did not answer her. With the system at his side, it doesn't take much time for Chu Jiang to develop. Instead, he needs to find Holy Terra as quickly as possible. After all, Holy Terra is there, and if someone gets there first, he will suffer a huge loss. Ding, check-in location detected, Artisan Star. The time required for this check-in, 3 days. Would you like to sign in? The sign-in system is activated again. And this time, the time required to sign in has also increased to 3 days. Chu Jiang did not hesitate and chose to sign in directly. The progress bar reappeared, so Chu Jiang also looked at Yun Qinghan. Instead of worrying about me, you should worry about yourself. Next, don't you need to recruit some craftsmen from the Huonu tribe? Let's go. I'll go with you. If we two of you are together, we'll still have some time left. Yun Qinghan was slightly startled when he heard that Chu Jiang did not leave immediately. She thought Chu Jiang was going to leave immediately after sending her to the Craftsman Star. But now, not only did he not leave, he actually hired Huonu engineers for him. Thinking of this, Yun Qinghan felt a lot lighter. This guy Chu Jiang doesn't seem to be a ruthless guy. On the other side, the ships of the Forest Spirit Tribe also arrived at the Vulcan Galaxy. After seeing the ships of the Forest Spirit Tribe, the expressions of many Star Sea races also changed drastically. What's going on? If I'm not mistaken, this should be a ship of the Forest Spirit Tribe. You read that right, the logo on the ship is the logo of the Forest Spirit Tribe, but why are they here? Let's stay away from here quickly. These races from the outer domain always look down on our races from the inner domain. It will be troublesome if we are targeted by them. When the Forest Spirit Tribe comes here, are they planning to take action against the Craftsman Star? For a time, many Star Sea races also chose to stay away from the ships of the Forest Spirit Tribe. I saw streams of light appearing one after another in the starry sky. Hundreds of Forest Spirit ships also appeared in the starry sky. The flagship headed by the Forest Spirit Tribe was the A-class Greenland-class battleship commanded by Blackwood and commanded by the Forest Spirit Tribe. At this moment, Commander Kuroki was also staring closely at the information on the screen. The Forest Spirit crew member next to him also reported immediately. Report to Commander Blackwood. We have traced the signal of crystal fragments on this planet. According to our investigation, this planet is called Artisan Star, and it is controlled by a group of inner races called the Huonu tribe. Before the forest crew member could finish his report, Commander Blackwood directly interrupted him. I just need to know the whereabouts of the crystal shards. I have no interest in these untouchables from the inner realm. Send troops immediately to prepare to land on the surface. No matter what happens, you must ensure that the crystal shards arrive in my hands safe and sound. At the end of the sentence, Commander Blackwood's eyes flashed with a fierce light. If anyone dares to stop us, we will kill them without mercy. Chapter 16, I said I don't want to talk to you. They are coming for me. On this day, many landing ships appeared in the sky of Craftsman Star. And these landing ships gave the Huonu people of Craftsman Star almost no chance to react. These landing ships landed in the starport in an extremely violent manner. Immediately afterwards, the door of the landing module opened. A large number of forest soldiers holding energy guns also rushed out. The entire starport quickly fell into chaos after seeing so many armed forest soldiers. The forest captain also raised the microcomputer on his wrist. I saw a holographic map projected by the microcomputer, with a red dot marked on the map. This red dot is where the crystal fragment is. After determining the location of the crystal fragments, the forest captain also waved his hand, and many forest soldiers also moved towards the location where the signal was sent. Stop. Who are you? This is the territory of the Huonu tribe. No matter who you are, you should not enter with large amounts of armed forces. Before these soldiers could disperse, soldiers from the Huonu tribe also surrounded them. For a time, the soldiers on both sides were at war with each other. One of the Huonu tribe looked at the Forest Spirit tribe soldiers on the opposite side and whispered to their commander. Reporting to the commander, it seems that there is a Forest Spirit tribe on the other side. Forest Spirit clan. The leader of the Huonu tribe also frowned. Isn't the Forest Spirit tribe an outsider race? How come they came to their inner domain? The captain of the Forest Spirit opposite also looked at the Huonu soldiers in front of him with a look of disdain. When he saw the equipment on the Huonu soldiers, he couldn't help but sneer. With all the scraps of metal you have on your body, you dare to block the path of our Forest Spirit soldiers. I advise you to be more sensible and get out of the way quickly. You can't afford to delay our work. After hearing these words, the leader of the Huonu tribe also frowned. If possible, he would like to beat the opponent violently. But he also knew very well that if the two sides really conflicted, they would be the ones who suffered. The equipment on the Forest Spirit tribe's side is obviously much more advanced than theirs. If a fight really breaks out, their side will definitely suffer heavy losses. Therefore, even though his heart is filled with anger now, the leader of the Huonu tribe is suppressing the anger in his heart. Honorable Lord of the Forest Spirit tribe, if you need anything, just ask us. As Craftsman Star locals, we are definitely more familiar with the terrain. Unexpectedly, the forest captain opposite sneered. Who do you think you are? You pigs really take yourselves seriously. Get out of here, don't delay our work. After saying that, the forest captain walked straight towards the blockade. Many Huonu soldiers gritted their teeth, but still suppressed their anger and looked at their commander. The leader of the Huonu clan clenched his fists tightly and his teeth were almost broken. Even so, he still raised his hand. Put your guns down and let them pass. One of the Huonu soldiers was a little confused, but obey orders. The leader of the Huonu tribe looked at the landing ships landing in the starport. These landing ships were only a small part. In space, there is also a fleet of forest spirits watching eagerly. If things get too big here, it will put them into a passive state. Many Huonu soldiers were also extremely depressed, but they still followed the order and moved out of the way. Oh, it's really troublesome to communicate with these despicable races. Before leaving, the forest captain also left these words behind. On the streets, many forest soldiers were running rampant with guns in hand. The originally peaceful market fell into chaos due to the arrival of these forest soldiers. Not long after, Captain Forest also came to the largest ship parts market in Craftsman Star. After taking a look at the holographic map, the forest captain discovered that the signal of the crystal fragments was here. That's right here. Listen to my order and seal this place off. Anyone who tries to escape will be shot to death. Boom. As soon as he finished speaking, gunfire rang out. One of the forest soldiers was holding a gun and looking at the corpse on the ground with an indifferent expression. When the surrounding Huona people saw this scene, they turned pale with fright. One of the Huona people screamed. Boom. There was another gunshot, and the screams suddenly stopped. Shut up. You untouchables. Search for me. You must find that thing for me. In the ship parts market, Chu Jiang and Yun Qinghan are purchasing ship parts. At this time, they also heard gunshots outside. The first time he heard the gunfire, Chu Jiang immediately became vigilant. What's the situation? This is the hinterland of the Huona tribe, how could there be gunshots? Yun Qinghan's expression also changed, and she couldn't help but lean towards Chu Jiang. Let me go and see what's going on. With that said, Chu Jiang also looked towards the exit of the market. At this time, all the Shanghai races in the market began to panic. What happened? What happened at the exit? I don't know either. I only saw a large number of forest troops blocking the surrounding entrances and exits. The forest spirit tribe, why are they here? I don't know, they seem to be looking for something. I advise you to be more honest when you check later. Several people have been killed. As soon as these words came out, Chu Jiang felt something bad. These forest spirit soldiers are not coming for him, are they? If there was anything about him that could attract them, it was probably the crystal fragment. Could it be that this crystal fragment was snatched from the hands of the forest spirit tribe soldiers by the crazy pirate group? Thinking of this, Chu Jiang also narrowed his eyes slightly. Yun Qinghan, you should blend into the crowd first. I think these forest spirit soldiers are coming for me. If you continue to stay with me, your life may be in danger. What? Are these forest spirit soldiers coming for Chu Jiang? At this moment, Yun Qinghan seemed to suddenly think of something. Could it be that crystal fragment? Chu Jiang also directly pushed Yun Qinghan away, and then headed straight towards the center of the market. At the entrance and exit, the forest captain also saw the signal on the holographic map beginning to move toward the center, and his eyes narrowed slightly. Sure enough, the guy with the crystal shard is inside. Guard the entrance and exit. No flying insect can be let in without my order. Everyone else, come in with me. Having said that, the forest captain also took out the energy pistol from his waist and ran straight towards the parts market. Chapter 17, Welcome to my home court. Protoss fanatics awaken. Get away. Many forest soldiers almost went on a rampage and rushed straight into the ship parts market. According to the holographic map, the crystal holder goes all the way up. At this moment, the floors above the second floor have already been cleared due to the commotion caused by the forest soldiers. Looking at the empty mall, the forest captain also opened the holographic map again. On the map, the location of the crystal fragments is also clearly visible. Seeing this, the forest captain also sneered. Despicable mouse, do you really think you can escape our eyes? Keep chasing him, all the entrances and exits have been blocked by us, he can't escape. After that, the forest captain also continued to pursue. Going all the way up, they finally arrived at the rooftop. The rooftop of the building where the ship parts mall was originally located has been blocked by staff. But at this time, Chu Jiang violently broke open the rooftop door. After entering the rooftop, the forest soldiers followed closely behind. Looking at Chu Jiang, the only living person on the rooftop, the forest captain also opened the holographic map again. In the end, the forest captain was also determined. The crystal fragment they are looking for is on Chu Jiang. Run. Why don't you run? Despicable mouse, please hand over the things that don't belong to you. Captain Senling raised the gun in his hand and aimed directly at Chu Jiang. Faced with the aiming of numerous firearms, Chu Jiang was also very calm. He slowly raised his hand, opened his palm, and the crystal fragments lay quietly in his palm. Seeing this scene, Captain Forest's eyes also lit up. Sure enough, the crystal fragment is on this blue star human. Human, hand over that crystal fragment. As long as you can give me this crystal fragment, maybe I can consider letting you live. Hearing this, Chu Jiang smiled. Just looking at the attitudes of these forest spirits, he didn't think that they could easily let him go after getting the crystal fragments. What's more, Chu Jiang didn't come to the rooftop for no reason. Chu Jiang chuckled, now, this is my home court. I should be the one telling you that if you leave now, I can spare your life. As soon as these words came out, many forest soldiers laughed. Are you kidding me? Could it be that the human opposite is crazy? He was just one person, and he didn't even have any equipment. But he was indeed facing a well-equipped forest team. Chu Jiang smiled faintly and clapped his hands. Coordinate information has been received. Deploying crystal tower. The next second, a powerful energy wave rose around him. Before many forest spirits could react, a crystal tower appeared next to Chu Jiang. Seeing the sudden appearance of the crystal tower, the forest spirits also looked shocked. What's the situation? Why did this crystal tower suddenly appear here? Human, what the hell are you doing? The forest spirit captain looked solemn. This kind of space jumping technique was difficult for even the forest spirit clan to achieve. But Chu Jiang could easily bend a crystal tower to his side. The fun is yet to come. At this moment, a large number of dormant cabins in the cabin of the Spear of Adun were activated. In the dormant cabin, one fanatic after another opened his eyes. The fanatic has been activated. Locking the crystal tower coordinates. Preparing for space jump transmission. Whoosh. 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 These newly awakened fanatics were not even familiar with their surroundings, and were teleported to where Chu Jiang was in the next second. The forest soldiers on the opposite side watched helplessly as Chu Jiang's surroundings went from being empty to being filled with Protoss fanatics. Damn it! How could this human being master such exquisite space jumping technology? Such a precise and rapid space jump technology, even other forest spirit tribes cannot achieve it. Facing the shocked forest captain, Chu Jiang sneered. There are still many things you don't know. The next second, Chu Jiang waved his hand. The fanatics immediately attacked many forest soldiers like arrows from the bowstring. Brush. Almost instantly, the fanatic came to a forest soldier. As a bright light flashed across the body of the forest soldier, the psychic light blade directly split the forest soldier in half. The forest soldier next to him stared wide-eyed and couldn't believe his eyes. What a speed! Boom. Just then, one of the Sylvan soldiers opened fire on one of the zealots. The fanatic stood there, then tilted his head slightly, and the bullet passed through his face. Seeing this scene, the forest soldier who fired the gun widened his eyes. Brush. The next second, the forest soldier was also directly killed. In almost less than a minute, most of the hundreds of forest soldiers brought by the forest captain had been lost. These Protoss fanatics possess extremely powerful melee capabilities. Moreover, their psychic abilities allow them to predict the future to a certain extent. Those firearms and bullets cannot harm the fanatics at all. Chu Jiang looked at the fanatics in front of him and thought to himself. Sure enough, the support capabilities of the Spear of Adun are unmatched by any Starship. Even if he is not on the Starship, the Spear of Adun can teleport the Protoss warriors over and protect his own safety in time. The forest captain changed his previous arrogance and quickly used his communication equipment. Where are the people downstairs? Come and support me now. I repeat, I need support here. But no matter how much the forest captain shouted, there was only a burst of noise in the communication channel. When a fanatic came to him, the forest captain suddenly turned pale. At this time, the voice finally came from the communication channel. Report to the captain. We have been attacked. Damn it. What kind of monsters are these people? I can't see him. Wait, he's on the ceiling. Immediately afterwards, a series of screams came from the communication channel. Chu Jiang also heard the screams on the opposite communication channel, and the corners of his mouth raised slightly. It looks like my additional support has arrived. Additional support? At this moment, in the shopping mall downstairs, several pilots were flying over the walls, turning into life-seeking ghosts, constantly harvesting the lives of forest soldiers. These forest soldiers gathered together, with fear in their eyes. What kind of monsters are these guys in front of me? Their firearms were simply unable to deal with these monsters flying over walls and walls. Moreover, these monsters also have the ability to become invisible and disappear. Chapter 18, No need to endure anymore. To cut weeds, we must remove the roots. Damn. These guys are moving too fast, we can't aim at all. Where did these guys come from? Their combat power and equipment are far superior to ours. Watch your back. As soon as he finished speaking, a pilot fell from the ceiling and stood behind a forest soldier. The forest soldier also reacted quickly and directly took out an alloy dagger and slashed it behind him. But the next second, his arm went straight through the body of the pilot. Not good. This is an illusion. Boom. A gunshot rang out, and a bullet penetrated directly through the head of the forest soldier. The pilot's figure slowly appeared from his side. Seeing this scene, the other forest soldiers' eyes widened, as if they had seen a ghost. "You, who are you?" One of the forest soldiers' voice was full of fear. It was more like he knew where these ghost-like soldiers came from. At this moment, a pilot fell beside him, and a kinetic energy pistol was aimed at his head. "You can save this problem and go to hell. If you want to blame you for provoking the people you shouldn't have provoked." Boom. Gunshots rang out, and the last forest soldier fell down. In the entire ship parts mall, apart from the forest soldiers who fell on the ground, there were only many pilots standing there. The surrounding people had already taken advantage of the chaos to escape. At this time, the Huonu tribe's escort team also rushed over quickly. The leader of the Huonu tribe looked at the civilians of the Huonu tribe who had been killed by the forest soldiers at the entrance. In an instant, anger burst out like a volcano erupting. "Damn it! These beasts! I shouldn't have let them in the first place." He never expected that these forest soldiers would treat their Huonu people like this. The surrounding Huonu warriors gritted their teeth when they saw the dead civilians on the ground. "Sir, we can't let these forest soldiers do whatever they want. Yes, this is the territory of our Huonu tribe, but they are massacring civilians in our territory. Sir, the reason why we joined the escort is to protect civilians. If we can't protect civilians, what's the use of the guns in our hands? We are not afraid of death, but we are more afraid that we will not be able to fulfill our duty to protect the people." The leader of the Huonu tribe clenched his fists and his eyes were filled with anger. He originally wanted to settle the matter and minimize the loss. Who knew that these Forest Spirit Clan guys didn't take them seriously at all? "We can no longer sit still and wait for death, we must defend our territory." Having said that, the leader of the Huonu tribe immediately led his team into the mall. However, when they arrived at the mall, they couldn't help but be shocked by the sight in front of them. On the first floor of the mall, a large number of forest soldiers fell to the ground. There was still a strong smell of blood in the air. It was obvious that a great battle had just occurred here. The result of this battle was naturally the complete destruction of the Forest Spirit tribe. Many pilots looked at the Huonu warriors who appeared in front of them. Their eyes were indifferent, but the guns in their hands were ready to fight at all times. "Who are you?" Looking at the fallen forest soldiers on the ground, the leader of the Huonu tribe couldn't help but feel horrified. "You know, these forest spirit soldiers are well equipped and well trained. Even if their Huonu warriors fight against these soldiers, they will definitely be injured." However, looking at it now, the corpses lying on the ground are none other than the soldiers of the Forest Spirit tribe. In other words, the mysterious force in front of them wiped out the entire Forest Spirit Clan force without even a single casualty. Such a powerful fighting power made the leaders of the Huonu tribe nervous. "Everyone, don't be nervous, these are all my subordinates." At this moment, Chu Jiang's voice also attracted the attention of the Huonu warriors. The Huonu chief also immediately focused his attention on Chu Jiang. However, when he saw many fanatics behind Chu Jiang, for a moment, his hand holding the gun was trembling. One of the fanatics seemed to feel the gaze of the Huonu chief, and then looked over. The two looked at each other, and the leader of the Huonu clan suddenly felt that he was being suppressed. The noble and powerful aura of the fanatic made him feel suffocated. Strong. Each of the fanatics behind that human being is an elite among the elite. The aura on his body gave people a sense of oppression just by standing there. Chu Jiang walked straight towards the leader of the Huonu tribe opposite. On his left, well-equipped and well-trained pilots were waiting with guns in hand. On his right, the fanatics looked coldly, like ruthless hunters, standing there giving people a strong sense of oppression. Who is this human being? He has such an elite force under his command. Could it be that he is also a big shot from the outside world? When Chu Jiang came to the Huonu chief, he also patted him on the shoulder. "Did you see these civilians lying on the ground? This is the result of your inaction. As the escort of the Huonu tribe, you are unable to protect your own people. In the end, you still need me to take action. After hearing these words, many Huona warriors also lowered their heads. Chu Jiang was right. As warriors of the Huona tribe, they not only failed to protect the people, but instead let these forest spirit tribe soldiers go when they were at the starport. That's why these innocent people are treated like this. The leader of the Huona tribe then said firmly, I did not handle this matter properly. Thank you very much for saving our people of the Huona tribe. It's too early to be polite. These forest spirit soldiers have died, but their large forces are still entrenched in space. Guess what their fleet would do if they knew that their outposts were completely destroyed? As soon as these words came out, the leader of the Huona tribe suddenly understood. He knows very well that with the current strength of the Huona tribe, fighting against the forest spirit tribe is simply an egg against a stone. But as long as this forest fleet disappears into the sea of stars. So, no matter what great abilities the forest spirit tribe has, it is impossible to shift the blame to the Huona tribe. Thinking of this, a strong murderous intention flashed in the eyes of the leader of the Huona tribe. It's time for these arrogant guys from the forest spirit tribe to make them pay the price. And Chu Jiang also showed a smile. He has no intention of letting go of these forest spirit tribes. Since he has cut off the grass, he must eradicate the roots. But with the power of the Spear of Adun, it is still somewhat difficult to completely eradicate the enemy. However, if these Huona fleets are added, this matter will be much easier. Chapter 19, Who gave them the courage? It and #039, my turn to show up. In space, Commander Blackwood frowned. A long time has passed since the ground troops went to the surface of Artisan Star. I don't know if they have found the whereabouts of the crystal fragments. Thinking of this, Commander Blackwood also felt a little annoyed. He finally got the crystal fragment, but it was intercepted by a mere interstellar pirate. For this reason, he also needs to go to a remote place. This is the territory of their Huona tribe. But the tone of these forest spirit tribes is as if they have stepped into the territory of the forest spirit tribe. Such an anti-customer attitude made everyone in the Huona tribe feel angry. The commander of the Huona tribe did not respond to the forest spirit tribe's warning. This time he dispatched the fleet with the purpose of annihilating the entire fleet of the forest spirit tribe. Using the sector array, this operation must not allow any living forest spirit to leave the Vulcan galaxy. Clear. Many Huona warriors also answered loudly. They have long been unhappy with these forest spirit tribes. Whether it is for their own homeland or to vent their inner dissatisfaction, the Huona warriors are already very energetic at this moment. Forest Spirit did not receive any response regarding the Huona fleet, and frowned. Report to Commander Blackwood. The other party did not respond to us. Haha, a bunch of pigs really take themselves seriously. Commander Haimu sneered, since these guys from the Huona tribe are overestimating their own abilities. I don't mind letting them know what firepower strikes from advanced civilizations mean. Boom. Suddenly, a brilliant spark lit up in the endless starry sky. Commander Kuroki immediately sat up. What happened? You opened fire before I gave the order. It wasn't us, it was the opposite side, the Huona fleet on the opposite side that opened fire. What? What did those Huona people eat that made them so bold that they actually dared to open fire and declare war on them? Rumble. For a time, a large number of Huona ships burst out with astonishing firepower. The dense artillery fire attacked the forest spirit tribe's fleet like a torrential rain. Hit me hard. Don't save ammunition, just hit me hard. The Huona commander also shouted in the communication channel. And all the Huona warriors seemed to want to vent their inner depression. A large number of batteries fired ammunition one after another. One round of bombardment is over. The Huona commander secretly thought, if they attack first, they can knock out a few of the opponent's starships. However, when the flames dissipated, the Huona commander couldn't help but widen his eyes. After the round of bombardment, none of the forest spirit ships on the opposite side were damaged. How can it be? In the forest flagship, Commander Blackwood laughed to the sky, as if he was laughing at the opponent's naivety. How could the artillery of a mere inferior civilization cause damage to the ships of their forest spirit tribe? Do these guys really think they can be compared with us, the forest spirit tribe? All ships are preparing to counterattack. Let these ants see what the firepower of advanced civilization is. Following Commander Blackwood's order, the main guns of many forest starships glowed with a dark green light. When he saw these main guns exuding a faint green light, the Huonu commander suddenly screamed that something was not good. "Everyone is here, raise the ship's shield immediately." Whoosh! 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 Before he finished speaking, several laser cannons pierced into the Huonu tribe's fleet like sharp swords. Almost instantly, the Huonu tribe's starship shield was shattered by the laser cannon. Immediately afterwards, the dark green laser cannon penetrated directly through the entire starship. Hiss! The Huonu commander suddenly turned pale. Is this the difference between lower civilization and higher civilization? At this moment, Chu Jiang stood on the surface of the craftsman star and looked at the sky. A faint green laser could be vaguely seen, destroying a starship of the Huonu tribe. It seems that it is still difficult for these slave fleets to fight against the forest fleet. Seeing this, Chu Jiang also raised his wrist. The microcomputer on the wrist is also connected to the control system of the Spear of Adun. Activating the remote control system. The Spear of Adun power system has been activated. The Phoenix fighter is ready to take off at any time. At this time, Chu Jiang's Spear of Adun needs to come into play. In the starport, the huge Spear of Adun also rose into the sky. The huge body rushed straight towards the endless starry sky. Chapter 20, Our support is only one starship. Split missile. Boom. It rose with a dazzling firelight. Another starship of the Huonu tribe fell. At this time, the commander of the Huonu clan looked livid. He originally thought that no matter how big the gap between the starships of the Huonu tribe and the starships of the Forest Spirit tribe was, they would not be much worse. The number of starships on the Huonu tribe's side far exceeds the number of starships on the Forest Spirit tribe's side. He thought that with their numerical advantage, they would be enough to repel these forest starships. But in fact, what he thought was too simple. The starships of the Forest Spirit tribe are extremely powerful, both in terms of weapon power and energy shield defense. Facing such a forest starship, they have no chance of winning. For a moment, a strong despair surrounded the Huonu tribe commander. At this moment, a voice also sounded in the communication channel. "Don't panic, everyone, our support will be here soon." As soon as these words came out, the Huonu tribe commander also looked confused. Support? All the starships of their Huonu tribe are here, where is the support? Before the Huonu commander could react, their radar showed that a starship was approaching. What's the situation? There is actually a starship approaching them at this time. Isn't this looking for death? However, when the Huonu commander saw the size of the starship, he couldn't help but gasp. Such a huge body of the Spear of Adun appeared in his field of vision, and he was shocked. He has never seen such a huge starship. What kind of starship is this? Wrong. The paint on this starship is not the paint on their Huonu fleet. So who owns this starship? At this moment, the words that had just been transmitted from the Huonu clan headquarters on the ground rang in his mind. Could this starship be their support? Are you kidding me? This is an interstellar war. How can a starship, no matter how huge it is, affect the direction of a war? What's more, if such a huge figure suddenly appears on the battlefield, wouldn't it easily become the target of enemy fire? And the forest fleet on the opposite side also discovered the existence of the Spear of Adun. Report to the commander. An unknown starship was found ahead. I've already seen it. Commander Blackwood narrowed his eyes slightly. The Spear of Adun was so huge that even if Commander Blackwood wanted to, it would be difficult not to notice it. What is going on with this starship? Even the Star Destroyer looked extremely small compared to the starships in front of me. Commander Blackwood glanced at the paint on the Spear of Adun and couldn't help but frown. It's not a starship from the Huonu tribe. Could it be the support from the Huonu tribe? That's not right, this is an interstellar war, not a child's play. No matter how stupid those guys from the Huonu tribe are, they can't expect a starship to change the tilt of the war scale. But then, Commander Kuroki discovered that he was completely wrong. Chu Jiang on the ground of Artisan Star also learned the news on the battlefield in real time through the remote control system of the Spear of Adun. Detecting enemy shield. Detection successful, the enemy's shield is a T3 energy shield. T3 level energy shield. Thanks to the forest spirits from the outer realm, the energy shields used by the starships have all reached the T3 level. No wonder the Huanu clan's attack couldn't penetrate the enemy's energy shield. Most of the weapons and energy shields on the Huanu tribe are T1 level. There is a 2-level difference between the two, so naturally they cannot compete with them. But for Chu Jiang, there is no difference at all between T3 level energy shield and T1 level energy shield. No matter what level of energy shield it is, it can't resist the fire attack of the Spear of Adun. Activate the fire system of the Spear of Adun. Aim at those forest starships and hit me hard. Chu Jiang was also unceremonious and directly chose the full fire mode. The lion still needs all his strength to fight the rabbit, not to mention facing these forest fleets. He must not let anyone go. Once someone goes back to report the news, both the Huanu tribe and Chu Jiang will face the pursuit of the entire forest spirit tribe. Besides, you can just go directly to the Huanu tribesmen to reimburse your ammunition for loss. Rounding it all off, not only can I get rid of the forest pursuers, but I can also make a lot of money. Starting full fire mode. Multiple hostile targets have been locked. Rumble. In the extremely shocked eyes of both fleets, the Spear of Adun showed extremely powerful firepower. The cannons all over the sky attacked the forest starship on the opposite side like a torrential rain. The next second, endless flames instantly engulfed the forest starship. The flames dissipated and something shocking happened. A large number of forest starships were immediately turned into a pile of scrap metal under the bombardment of the Spear of Adun. The remaining forest starships were not much better. All their energy shields were shattered by the powerful firepower of the Spear of Adun. Once the energy shield is broken, it will take a period of time to recharge. During this period, the forest starship can only rely on its own ship armor to resist damage. What are you waiting for? The energy shield on the opposite side is gone. Isn't now a good time to attack? Chu Jiang's voice also sounded in the Huanu tribe's communication channel. Hearing this voice, the Huanu commander also reacted quickly. He also didn't expect that the firepower of Chu Jiang's starship would be so powerful. The firepower of just one starship directly severely damaged the opposing forest fleet. Seizing this opportunity, a large number of Huanu starships also launched an attack. Boom. Another forest starship exploded. Without the energy shield, the defense power of the forest starship is also greatly reduced. Commander Haimu's face turned pale. What was the origin of the starship opposite? Just one round of bombardment severely damaged their fleet defense. Damn it. What on earth is this starship about? We can't continue to let it attack. Pass my order and prepare to use split missiles. All ships will focus on the largest starship. Commander Haimu knew very well that those Huanu fleets were just a bunch of rabble. The only real threat to them was the huge starship that suddenly appeared. Split missiles are a powerful weapon unique to their forest spirit tribe. Quantity is limited. Therefore, Commander Blackwood did not want to use this killer weapon lightly unless absolutely necessary. But now, facing Chu Jiang's Spear of Adun, he had to use split missiles to attack. Receive. All forest starships were quickly mobilized, and splitting missiles were loaded into the artillery. Chapter 21, Even this can't break the defense. How much faster is my Phoenix fighter? Great. The forest fleet has been severely damaged by us. Keep attacking, don't stop. Pursue victory and don't give the opponent the slightest chance to breathe. At this moment, the Huanu tribe commander's face was also red, and his excitement could no longer be concealed. Unexpectedly, Chu Jiang's Spear of Adun could single-handedly reverse the situation on the entire battlefield. He originally thought that their Huanu fleet would not be able to fight against the forest spirit fleet no matter what. However, when Chu Jiang's Spear of Adun appeared, the entire battlefield situation changed. Now, many Huanu warriors are also frantically targeting the opposite starship. Continuous artillery lights up one after another in space. At the same time, the number of forest fleets on the opposite side is also constantly decreasing. If this continues, victory will definitely belong to their Huanu tribe. Thinking of this, the Huanu commander fell into excitement again. But at this moment, a Huanu crew member discovered something was wrong. Report. The forest fleet on the opposite side seems to be adjusting its formation. Adjust the formation. Could it be that these forest fleets found that they could not gain the upper hand in the battle and plan to escape at this time? This is not possible. If these forest ships are allowed to return to their home planet, what the Huonu tribe will have to face next is the wrath of the entire forest spirit tribe. They must not be allowed to escape. Surround them around me. We must not let these forests leave the Vulcan galaxy quickly. With an order, many Huonu ships also swarmed in, trying to surround the forest starships. Chu Jiang, who was on the surface of the Craftsman star, narrowed his eyes slightly when he saw the movement of the forest starship opposite. Something's wrong. The forest spirit tribe pursued him all the way here just for the crystal fragment in his hand. Now that the crystal fragments have not been obtained, he does not believe that these forest spirits can retreat so easily. In fact, Chu Jiang's guess was indeed correct. Many forest starships adjusted their positions and aimed their guns at the Spear of Adun. Rumble. As a series of fires lit up, all the remaining forest starships fired splitting missiles at the Spear of Adun. I saw these split missiles split into two during flight, and then split again. The originally sparse barrage turned into a dense rainstorm in the blink of an eye. The next second, countless splitting missiles fell on the Spear of Adun. These splitting missiles were so fast that even the Huonu starships did not have time to react. Almost instantly, these missiles with the ability to split fell on the energy shield of the Spear of Adun. After this round of bombing, whoever it is, who can withstand it? The Huonu commander suddenly broke out in a cold sweat. It turned out that the adjustment of these forest spirit starships was not to escape. Their target is actually the Spear of Adun. It's over now. Chu Jiang's starship must have been turned into a pile of scrap metal by so many starships. Without the fire support of the Spear of Adun, wouldn't their next battle be in a stalemate again? Commander Blackwood looked at the Spear of Adun swallowed up by the flames, and also gave a mocking smile. It's ridiculous. These Huonu tribe pigs, do you think I will escape? Without the fire support of that starship, these Huonu starships are just lambs waiting to be slaughtered. But the next second, the laughter stopped abruptly. Commander Kuroki's eyes widened and he couldn't believe his eyes. The flames dissipated, but the figure of the Spear of Adun still stood there intact. Even a concentrated fire attack of splitting missiles failed to break through its energy shield. How can it be? The splitting missile is one of their forest spirit tribe's trump cards. Not only are these fragmentation missiles highly accurate, they are also extremely fast. It can even split into several missiles during the splitting process, making it impossible for enemy interceptors to attack. But in the case of all hits, the Spear of Adun was not only fine, but even the energy shield did not receive any damage. Damn it. What kind of monster is this ship? Everyone is here, start the second round of shooting immediately. Since one round of splitting missile bombardment couldn't solve this starship, then they will use a second round of bombing. He didn't believe that the energy shield of this starship could withstand the attack of their splitting missiles indefinitely. The Huonu commander also realized that the target on the opposite side was Chu Jiang's Spear of Adun. Prepare immediately to intercept the enemy's attack. Now, the powerful firepower of the Spear of Adun is their only capital against the forest spirits. If the Spear of Adun is destroyed by the enemy split missile, then they will lose the chance to fight against the forest spirit. Suddenly, a large number of splitting missiles flew out from the cannons of the forest starship. Seeing this, many Huonu starships immediately started interception mode. A large number of separatist missiles were destroyed in the air by the Huonu starships. But even so, in the face of a large number of extremely fast fragmentation missiles, their interception seems to be a drop in the bucket. Not good. Their missiles will still split. There are too many divisions, and we can't stop them at all. Their speed is too fast, and our interception system cannot accurately lock on them. It's over. 2 consecutive rounds of bombing. Even if the Star Destroyer comes, it won't be able to withstand it. Boom. Just when the Huonu commander was feeling disheartened, a dazzling fire also caught his attention. For a moment, a large number of Phoenix fighter planes were like bees, galloping out of the Spear of Adun. The fast and agile Phoenix fighter plane shuttled between numerous artillery fires and intercepted one split missile after another. Fires were everywhere, and every time a fire lit up, it meant that a split missile had been successfully intercepted. Commander Kuroki turned pale as he watched a large number of splitting missiles being intercepted by Phoenix fighter jets. Damn it. Where did these fighter planes come from again? This time, even their most proud trump card was easily cracked by the Phoenix fighter. Now, the forest fleet has reached the end of its rope. A forest crew member also said cautiously, "Commander, why don't we retreat? Today's forest fleet not only has the number of ships greatly reduced, but even the ammunition has been almost exhausted. If the fight continues like this, they are the only ones who will suffer. At this moment, Commander Blackwood looked gloomy. Although he didn't want to admit it, everything the crew member said was true. They can't continue to consume any more. Then follow my orders and go down. All ships, prepare to retreat. Chu Jiang also saw the embarrassment of the forest fleet on the opposite side, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly. Since they dare to pursue here, they must be prepared for the entire army to be annihilated. The purification beam is ready. Chapter 22, thank you so much. Admission to the Starlight Gathering. Purifying beam. Among all the weapons of the Spear of Adun, it is definitely a destructive weapon. If you use a purification beam to bomb a planet, the power of the purification beam is enough to evaporate everything on the surface of the planet in an instant. Now, Chu Jiang is on the surface of Craftsman Star. Through the remote control system, the annihilation cluster of the Spear of Adun was also activated, preparing to release the purification beam. The purification beam is ready. The target has been successfully locked. Chu Jiang looked at the forest fleet that turned around and was about to leave, and directly pressed the launch button. Boom. For a moment, the Spear of Adun burst out with a burst of dazzling light spears. Along with an extremely violent energy, centered on the Spear of Adun, a powerful purification beam also attacked directly towards the forest fleet in front of them. Almost instantly, Commander Blackwood's flagship was engulfed by the purification beam. Commander Kuroki didn't even let out a scream, and instantly turned into a wisp of dust. The purifying beam sweeps continuously, leaving no grass growing wherever it passes. The moment any forest ship approaches the purification beam, it will be engulfed by the powerful energy of the purification beam. The Huonu commander couldn't help but take a breath of air. What kind of weapon is this? Such violent energy fluctuations made him feel a suffocating pressure even when he was watching from a distance. He couldn't even imagine what kind of horrific result it would be if this shot fell on him. When the light dissipated, the original forest fleet was already in pieces. The remaining ones are just some defeated soldiers. At this moment, Chu Jiang's voice sounded in the communication channel again. What are you still doing? Are you still waiting for me to take care of the remaining guys? As soon as these words came out, the Huonu tribe commander also reacted immediately. The battle isn't over yet. Their goal this time is to annihilate the entire forest spirit fleet without leaving anyone behind. If you let go of a remnant and escape back to the forest spirit clan's home planet. If the forest spirit king finds out about this, he will definitely not let the Hua slaves off easily. Therefore, the Huonu commander quickly commanded his crew and began to encircle and suppress the remaining forest ships around them. After everything was done, Chu Jiang on the surface of Craftsman Star also breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the firepower and defense of the Spear of Adun are strong enough. Otherwise, relying on the fleets of these Huonu clan, I may not be able to annihilate all these forest fleets. At this time, Yun Qinghan also appeared next to Chu Jiang. Just now when Chu Jiang was remotely controlling the Spear of Adun, Yun Qinghan was always guarding Chu Jiang. Because of this, Chu Jiang was able to devote himself to controlling the Spear of Adun. Finished. It has ended. Hearing this, Yun Qinghan also breathed a sigh of relief. At the same time, he also looked at Chu Jiang in disbelief. She never expected that Chu Jiang had just stepped out of the solar system and defeated the fanatical pirate group and the forest fleet from the outside world. Neither of these two parties is a fuel-efficient lamp. Even if the Sun Federation's fleet faces the forest fleet, it must avoid the edge for the time being. But Chu Jiang not only confronted them head-on, but even strangled them all. For the first time, Yun Qinghan felt that Chu Jiang in front of him seemed a little strange. Perhaps, when he said he was going to the Outer Lands, he wasn't just talking out of thin air. After solving the forest fleet, the leader of the Huonu tribe also warmly received Chu Jiang. Chu Jiang's performance in the battle made the leader of the Huonu tribe deeply in awe of him. Facing the powerful forest fleet, the performance of the Spear of Adun made all the Huonu warriors feel deep fear. The leader of the Huonu tribe also deeply realized that the young men in front of him could only make friends and not make enemies. Otherwise, once you offend him, there is no telling which day the fate of the forest fleet will be the fate of their Huonu tribe. Thinking of this, the leader of the Huonu tribe was also very enthusiastic about Chu Jiang. Thank you Captain Chu for your help. It is because of your presence that our Huonu tribe can survive this crisis. After that, the leader of the Huonu tribe also placed a star coin card in front of Chu Jiang. At the same time, there is a special black card underneath the star coin card. This is our most sincere gratitude to you from the Huonu tribe. In this star coin card, there is a reward of 10 million star coins. And the other card is the ticket to the Starlight Gathering. These are just a few thoughts from our Huonu tribe. Please don't take it personally, Captain Chu. Admission to the Starlight Gathering. When Chu Jiang heard this term, his eyes lit up. Yun Qinghan next to him was also a little surprised when he heard the name of Starlight Gathering. Starlight Gathering, a very famous business gathering. Every time the Starlight Gathering is held, it attracts a large number of chambers of commerce to gather. At the Starlight Gathering, some extremely rare treasures will appear almost every time. Rumor has it that a planet lord of the Sun Federation once bought a psychic seat at the Starlight Gathering and was transformed into a noble psyker. However, if you want to attend the Starlight Gathering, you must have an admission ticket. Without an admission ticket, you simply cannot enter the Starlight Gathering. Yun Qinghan whispered in Chu Jiang's ear, "You can't miss the ticket to the Starlight Gathering. This Starlight Gathering is in the bright stars of the Whirlpool Galaxy. On the black market, a ticket to the Starlight Gathering has already fetched a sky-high price." Seeing Yun Qinghan whispering in Chu Jiang's ear, the leader of the Huonu tribe seemed to understand something. So, he pushed the star coin card and Starlight Gathering ticket to Chu Jiang and added, "Captain Chu, please rest assured that Starlight Gathering ticket holders can bring a female companion to the venue. So you don't have to worry that your partner won't be able to enter the Starlight Assembly due to tickets." As soon as these words came out, Yun Qinghan stood up suddenly. "You, don't talk nonsense, who is this guy's female companion? Ah. Did I misunderstand?" Upon hearing this, the leader of the Huonu tribe also smiled awkwardly. "I'm so sorry, I only have this one ticket here." Yun Qinghan took a look at the tickets and felt very conflicted inside. You know, the Starlight Gathering brings together most of the chambers of commerce in the galaxy. You might be able to buy rare treasures that you can't usually buy at the Starlight Gathering. But because of this, tickets to the Starlight Gathering are extremely precious, and even her father can't buy them. After thinking for a moment, Yun Qinghan sat down again with a blushing face. This time she did not continue to say anything. Seeing this, Chu Jiang also put away the star coin card and Starlight Gathering tickets. "Then I'll thank the leader." "You're welcome. It's a great honor for me to communicate with a young hero like Captain Chu." Chapter 23, Signing into Stark Laboratory, Anti-Titan Armor. After leaving the residence of the leader of the Huonu tribe, Chu Jiang also walked directly towards the starport. It will take 2 days before you successfully sign in. During this period, Chu Jiang could only spend this time on the Spear of Adun. Unexpectedly, Yun Qinghan suddenly grabbed Chu Jiang's hand at this time. Chu Jiang turned to look at Yun Qinghan. "What kind of plane is this woman planning?" I saw Yun Qinghan coyly saying, "Inside, can you take me with you to the Starlight Gathering?" Speaking of this, Yun Qinghan also turned red. "If you get a ticket, can't you bring a female companion into the venue?" I'll just reluctantly be your female companion for once." "You're getting an advantage. The Starlight Gathering is one of the most grand events in the entire galaxy. I don't know how many people have paid a huge price to be able to participate in the Starlight Gathering. But even so, they may not be able to enter the Starlight Assembly." Now, there was an opportunity to enter the Starlight Gathering before him, and Yun Qinghan really didn't want to miss it. Saying that, Yun Qinghan also forcibly cheered up. "You should feel honored that I will be your female companion. After all, it will be honorable for you to take a beautiful female companion like me out, right?" Before he finished speaking, Chu Jiang turned around and left. When Yun Qinghan saw this, his previous reserve suddenly collapsed. "Wait, I was wrong. Please, just take me with you." Hearing these words, Chu Jiang also showed a proud smile. Unexpectedly, Yun Qinghan, who was once known as the iceberg goddess of Blue Star Academy, still has such a side now. And Chu Jiang also extended his hand without any politeness. "One quota, 1 million star coins." "What? 1 million star coins?" When Yun Qinghan heard the price, he gritted his teeth. Unexpectedly, Chu Jiang actually sold this spot to himself. 1,000,000 star coins. If it were my previous self, I would probably be able to take it out without hesitation. But now, she has officially embarked on the road to interstellar navigation. She had also sworn in her heart before that she would never rely on the strength of her family after embarking on the journey of interstellar navigation. This 1,000,000 star coins can be said to be a knife cut into Yun Qinghan's artery. After thinking for a moment, Yun Qinghan also looked at Chu Jiang with gritted teeth. Okay, I'll blame you. After that, Yun Qinghan also transferred 1,000,000 star coins to Chu Jiang. After Chu Jiang received the star coins, he also smiled lightly. Well, see you in 2 days, don't be late then. After saying that, Chu Jiang also waved his hand. Yun Qinghan looked at Chu Jiang's back and reluctantly punched the air a few times, as if to vent his inner dissatisfaction. But she also knew very well that 1,000,000 star coins was cheap enough to buy a place to enter the Starlight Gathering. As long as Chu Jiang spreads the news, a lot of rich women will be willing to spend a lot of star coins to be Chu Jiang's female companion. Although it is only an incidental quota, it is still an opportunity to enter the Starlight Gathering. Returning to the Spear of Adun, Chu Jiang also opened the system template. Now, I just need to wait quietly for the system to sign in. Ding, the Craftsman Star sign-in is complete. Congratulations, you have received the reward, Stark Laboratory. Congratulations, you have received the reward, Arc Reactor Design Drawing. 3 days go by in a blink of an eye. Chu Jiang's sign-in system also completes the sign-in for the Craftsman Star. But this time, what Chu Jiang didn't expect was that the system's reward was actually a laboratory. This made Chu Jiang a little curious as to what was so magical about this Stark Laboratory. System, where is this Stark Laboratory now? Answer, one of the rooms in the Spear of Adun has been transformed into Stark's laboratory. Having said that, Chu Jiang's microcomputer also popped up a coordinate location. Following the coordinates, Chu Jiang also came to Stark Laboratory. As soon as I walked into the laboratory, a strange mechanical sound also sounded. Captain, welcome to Stark Laboratory. I am Friday, the artificial intelligence from Stark Labs. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Chu Jiang looked at the laboratory in front of him, and his eyes were immediately attracted by the data panel suspended in the laboratory. The big screen showed specific data about the fanatics. Seeing this, Chu Jiang also asked the laboratory artificial intelligence Friday. What does this data look like? Captain, don't worry. The main function of Stark Laboratory is to collect information about the enemies you face. Based on this enemy information, we will create specially targeted armor to counterattack. Of course, in addition, the many instruments in the laboratory can also help you in your research. Researching counterarmor? When Chu Jiang heard about this function, his eyes lit up. When he opened the laboratory's database, he couldn't help but gasp. Sure enough, in the Stark Laboratory database, several armors have already been released. Anti-psionic armor, a counterarmor developed based on fanatic data, can effectively counteract the psychic attacks of psychers. Anti-Titan armor, a counterarmor developed based on Titan data, has a powerful ability to suppress Titan mechas. Anti-Phoenix armor, a counterarmor developed based on Phoenix fighter data, is faster, more flexible, and has extremely strong energy armor to avoid damage. Good guy. The artificial intelligence in Stark Laboratory has actually developed so many types of armor. Each of these armors are basically made according to the corresponding arms. Chu Jiang also saw the powerful capabilities of Stark Laboratory. In the future, if he encounters an unknown enemy, he can use Stark Labs to quickly create counterarmor. Thinking of this, Chu Jiang also felt happy. Apparently, my 3 days of waiting were not in vain. Just when Chu Jiang was planning to continue exploring other functions of Stark Laboratory, a message popped up on his microcomputer. Chu Jiang, where are you? I'm ready. When will we head to the Whirlpool Galaxy? I heard that the Starlight Gathering will be officially opened in 3 days. We can't be late. Seeing the news, Chu Jiang also smiled. Unexpectedly, Yun Qinghan was so interested in this Starlight Gathering. As a result, Chu Jiang temporarily gave up the idea of exploring Stark's laboratory. When I came to the cabin door, I found that Yun Qinghan had been waiting here for a long time. You guys are finally willing to come out. My engineers and spare parts are ready. When can we set off? Chapter 24, the bright stars in the center of the Milky Way, I noticed the existence of similar ones. Now that you are ready, let's set off. Now, the sign-in system has completed the sign-in. Chu Jiang has no reason to stay on this planet anymore. As the Spear of Adun took off, the Huonu warriors patrolling the entire starport also set their sights on it. When the leader of the Huonu tribe heard that Chu Jiang drove away from the craftsman star with the Spear of Adun, his hanging heart finally relaxed. After all, he had already seen the terrifying lethality of the Spear of Adon. Once Chu Jiang launches an attack on their planet, he is really not sure that he can stop the opponent. Fortunately, Chu Jiang is now on his way to the next galaxy. The leader of the Huonu clan, whose originally hanging heart gradually calmed down. The space jump is ready. Setting destination, Whirlpool Galaxy, bright stars. Whoosh! The Spear of Adun disappeared in the Vulcan Galaxy instantly. Not long after, the Spear of Adun also appeared in the Whirlpool Galaxy. Whirlpool Galaxy, bright stars. This is a prosperous planet known as the Pearl of the Galaxy. The Lord of the Shining Stars owns nearly half of the wealth in the galaxy. It is precisely because of such strong strength that the brilliant star has become the most prosperous star in the entire galaxy. Looking at the bright and dazzling planet in the distance like a crystal ball, Yun Qinghan couldn't help but sigh. It is indeed the bright star called the center of the Milky Way. Just looking at it from a distance, you can feel the prosperity on it. Chu Jiang, who was responsible for driving the Spear of Adun next to him, also glanced at Yun Qinghan. This guy, since the last time he knew that his Spear of Adon could accommodate a battleship. She parked the Fire Phoenix-class battleship directly into her cabin. Even if Chu Jiang objects, she will ask Chu Jiang to give her a ride on the grounds that she paid the ticket. Chu Jiang had no choice but to let her come. This is the Brilliant Starport, please register your ship information. As soon as he entered the airspace of Brilliant Star, the starport of Brilliant Star also sent a notice to him. The spaceships and starships coming and going around couldn't help but cast their gaze over when they saw the size of the Spear of Adon. What a huge starship! I have never seen such a huge starship. How come such a big starship doesn't even have a frigate? I really don't know what kind of race can build such a huge starship. Is this still a starship? It feels like a small satellite base. Chu Jiang followed the procedure and registered his starship. The Bright Starport also received Chu Jiang's application for entry. For such a huge starship, it is basically difficult to enter the starport without special adjustments. But fortunately, here are the bright stars, the most prosperous planet in the galaxy. Under the guidance of the staff, Chu Jiang quickly parked the Spear of Adun in the extraterrestrial port. Just after Chu Jiang docked at the starport, Chu Jiang suddenly discovered that the crystal fragments that had been unresponsive before were now glowing slightly. Not only that, the crystal fragments also began to slowly squirm in the box. It was as if there was some special magnetic field that was attracting the crystal fragments. Seeing this scene, Chu Jiang also narrowed his eyes slightly. The interstellar pirate also said before that crystal fragments are attracted to each other. Now the crystal fragment in his hand actually reacted. That means that there is another crystal fragment on this bright star. Unexpectedly, before I left the galaxy, I encountered a second crystal fragment. Thinking of this, Chu Jiang also remained somewhat vigilant about this action. Since he has been reacted by the crystal fragments, the holder on the opposite side must have also discovered his existence. When two crystal holders meet, there is basically only one outcome. When he came to the starport, Chu Jiang also brought a few fanatics and a few pilots to protect his own safety. Above this bright star, there is a mixture of fish and dragons, and the third-rate 9 sects from all directions in the Milky Way gather here. If you want to act here, you still need to be a little more vigilant. At this moment, Yun Qinghan was attracted by the prosperity of the bright stars in front of him. Because of the influence of the starlight gathering, the entire bright star fell into an atmosphere of celebration. Of course, those who can enter the starlight gathering to sell goods are all well-known business organizations in the galaxy. But in addition, there are still many small vendors who will use the influence of the starlight gathering to do some small business in the bright star. It can be said that the entire bright star street is now filled with stalls selling various products. Don't miss it when you're passing by. One bite of Alma Star's specialty fruits will definitely make you want to leave. Weapons made by master craftsmen of the Huonu tribe from the Star of Craftsmen are pure and innocent.
If you miss them, it will be your lifelong regret. Miss, are you interested in taking a look at the strange plants from the land of flowers? Yun Qinghan was walking on the road when he was suddenly blocked by a sweet-looking Nox star. The appearance of Star Nox is like a small flower elf. What they are best at is cultivating various flowers. Therefore, the flowers and perfumes of the Noxians are the most famous in the entire galaxy. Normally, if you want to buy flowers and perfumes from Star Nox, you can only go to the Floral Galaxy. But it's different now. Because of the Starlight Gathering, the Nox stars are also here. As a girl, Yun Qinghan has no resistance to beautiful things. Chu Jiang glanced at her, sighed and followed her. Just when Yun Qinghan was indulging in shopping, several strange races wearing black robes appeared among the crowd. Upon seeing this, the surrounding Star Sea races also made way for him. Because they can all clearly see that under these black robes, a cold light is looming. At this moment, one of the men in black robes turned his head and looked at where Chu Jiang was. Archbishop, I sense the same kind of aura. One of the men in black robes turned around. If Chu Jiang was here, he would definitely be able to tell. The men in black robes in front of them are actually a group of star spirits wearing black robes. However, compared with ordinary star spirits, the spiritual aura exuded by them is particularly violent. And these star spirits usually have another name. Dark Star Spirit. Chapter 25, Terra, the Old Human Empire. Do you want to come with me to see the High Society? Fred, the purpose of our trip is to find the relics left by the Terra Empire. The rest are not in our plan. As long as they don't hinder our plans, there's no need to worry about those ignorant fellows. Having said this, many dark stars also turned around and no longer looked in the direction of Chu Jiang. Obviously, the purpose of these dark stars coming here is also for the crystal fragments existing on this bright star. On the other side, Chu Jiang accompanied Yun Qinghan all the way to the location of the Starlight Gathering. Galaxy Brilliant Building. The location of this Starlight Gathering is held in this building known as the tallest building in the galaxy. Looking at the towering building in front of him, Yun Qinghan also let out an exclamation. So this is the tallest building in the galaxy. When I saw it today, it certainly lived up to its reputation. Looking around, I saw various Star Sea races appearing one after another. These Shanghai races also came to the door of the bright building with tickets in hand. After checking the authenticity of the tickets, the two security guards at the door also let these Star Sea races in. Chu Jiang looked at the two security guards in front of him and felt the spiritual aura on them. It was obvious that these two security guards were genuine psychers. In this world, psychics are superhuman existences compared to ordinary people. Even the lowest level of psychers can use psychic energy to strengthen their bodies, so that they can defeat 1 against 100. According to rumors, strong men from the outer world can even use spiritual energy to move the entire planet. Of course, for Chu Jiang, this kind of thing only exists in rumors. At this time, Yun Qinghan couldn't wait any longer. She took the initiative to hold Chu Jiang's arm, and then moved towards Chu Jiang. Come on, get your tickets out. Seeing Yun Qinghan's expectant look, Chu Jiang couldn't laugh or cry either. Why are you in such a hurry? The Starlight Gathering will be held continuously in the bright stars for 1 month before ending. Yun Qinghan rolled her eyes at him and said unconvinced. Although it is said to last for a month, aren't you afraid that all the good things will be bought in advance? There is some truth to this. So, Chu Jiang also walked towards the door of the bright building. But at this moment, a familiar voice also sounded behind Chu Jiang. Cloud Goddess. Hearing this familiar voice, Chu Jiang and Yun Qinghan turned around at the same time. Unexpectedly, when I looked back, I saw that it was an old acquaintance. Huang Fei. When Huang Fei saw Yun Qinghan, he was also delighted. I didn't expect to meet Yun Qinghan here. However, when he saw Yun Qinghan hugging Chu Jiang's arm very affectionately, the smile on his face suddenly froze. Huang Fei. Why are you here? The moment he saw Huang Fei, Yun Qinghan also frowned slightly. She was a little curious, why did Huang Fei appear in the bright star? When Huang Fei heard these words, he immediately acted like a victorious general and said smugly. Goddess Yun, you don't know, I have joined the 7 Stars Chamber of Commerce. You know the 7-Star Chamber of Commerce, it is one of the richest chambers of commerce in the entire galaxy. Now, I am also a member of the 7 Stars Chamber of Commerce. Our 7 Stars Chamber of Commerce was also invited to this Starlight Gathering, so I can also participate in this Starlight Gathering. After saying that, Wang Fei also looked at Yun Qinghan with a proud look on his face. Goddess Yun, don't you want to go into the bright building and see what the Starlight Gathering is like? As an employee of the 7 Stars Chamber of Commerce, I can use my authority to take you in for a look. After all, the tickets on the market are now sold at sky-high prices, and ordinary people still have no way to get in. Having said this, Wang Fei also glanced at Chu Jiang with some provocation. Obviously, he was telling Chu Jiang these words. After hearing these words, Chu Jiang also smiled and said nothing. At this time, Yun Qinghan also took the initiative and said, "You don't need to take us in, we have tickets." Tickets? Chu Jiang took out a ticket and handed it to the security guard at the door. The security guard at the door also checked and found that there was nothing wrong with the ticket. "Hello, your ticket is a VIP ticket issued by us. According to the VIP treatment, you can bring a partner into the Starlight Gathering." Before Chu Jiang could speak, Yun Qinghan also directly admitted it. "I am his mate." At this time, Yun Qinghan didn't want to be thrown out directly by these security guards. Seeing Yun Qinghan's initiative, Chu Jiang also smiled and nodded. Seeing Chu Jiang also nodded, the 2 security guards also opened the door and let Chu Jiang and Yun Qinghan walk in. At this time, Wang Fei's eyes widened. He just said that tickets to the Starlight Gathering are hard to get. Unexpectedly, the next second, Chu Jiang took out a ticket, which was a VIP ticket. Not only that, Yun Qinghan, who was originally known as the Cold Goddess of Blue Star Academy. Now he has become Chu Jiang's partner. At this moment, Wang Fei also felt hopeless. No. I must ask clearly. That guy Chu Jiang just awakened an S-class ship soul. Why can Goddess Yun like him? But just when Wang Fei came to the door, 2 security guards stopped him. "Excuse me, please show me your ticket to the Starlight Gathering." Upon hearing this, Wang Fei was furious and directly took out the logo of his 7-Star Chamber of Commerce members. "Did you see that I am a member of the 7 Stars Chamber of Commerce? Get out of my way and let me in quickly." Facing Wang Fei's words, the 2 security guards sneered and then pointed aside. "Sorry, according to the rules of the Starlight Assembly. All members of the Chamber of Commerce who are invited to the Starlight Gathering can only enter through the staff passage. This is the main entrance, only invitees with tickets can enter." As soon as these words came out, Wang Fei was stunned on the spot. "Can't you go in through the main entrance?" At this moment, several Dark Star spirits wearing black robes also came over. The leader of the Dark Star Archbishop also took out a ticket. The 2 security guards glanced at the tickets and then quickly opened the door. When the Archbishop of the Dark Star spirits entered the Starlight Assembly, the 2 security guards also felt a chill in their hearts. What a powerful psychic aura. Who are these people? Chapter 26, Dark Star Spirit. 3 Crystal Fragments. Walking into the interior of the brilliant building, Chu Jiang truly saw the charm of the Starlight Gathering. Things that are almost impossible to buy on weekdays can be found everywhere here. A large number of chambers of commerce and organizations gather here, and almost all the rare treasures in the galaxy can be seen here. Wow! Chu Jiang, look, there are actually biometals for sale here. Biometal. After Chu Jiang heard the name, he was also attracted to it. You know, biometal is one of the materials needed for the growth of the ship soul. A starship with a ship soul can continue to grow. No matter how low the initial level of the ship soul is, as long as you are willing to spend a lot of money to buy growth materials. Then this starship with a ship soul will grow to a level or even higher sooner or later. And if a ship soul wants to grow, the materials it needs are extremely rare. Among them, this biometal is one of them. Biometal is rumored to only appear on some planets with specific biomes. Moreover, the output of a planet is only about 1 ton. Because of this, biometals are also extremely rare. In the market, 1 gram of biometal can be sold for 10,000 star coins. And if a starship wants to be upgraded, the biometal required is not a small amount. Chu Jiang walked over and saw biometals of various colors on a stall. I saw that all these biometals were imprisoned in containers made of tempered glass. The biometal displayed on the stall alone weighs about 1 kilogram.
Not to mention, the Chamber of Commerce at this stall doesn't know how much inventory it has. Dear guest, what would you like to order? Seeing Chu Jiang coming over, the Chamber of Commerce members at the booth were also very enthusiastic. Because he knew very well that the people who could hang out at the Starlight Gathering were basically invited guests. And if these VIPs can get tickets to the Starlight Gathering, their status must be either rich or noble. Therefore, these Chamber of Commerce members are also cautious, for fear of offending these dignitaries. How much inventory do you have? Before Chu Jiang could speak, Yun Qinghan was already planning to buy some biome towels. After all, her Fire Phoenix-class battleship requires a lot of evolutionary materials to upgrade. As long as there are enough materials, maybe one day it can be transformed into an S-class battleship. The member of the Chamber of Commerce opposite also rubbed his hands and said very confidently, "Sir, how much biometal do you need?" Currently, our Chamber of Commerce has only prepared about 10 tons of biome towels. If you need more biome towels, we can only get them from the Chamber of Commerce headquarters. 10 tons of inventory. Yun Qinghan didn't expect that this Chamber of Commerce would have such sufficient inventory. However, Yun Qinghan thought about his wallet and finally chose to buy some biometal first. At this time, Chu Jiang's attention was not on the stall in front of him. He found that after entering the brilliant building, the reaction of the crystal fragments became more and more intense. So, Chu Jiang followed the guidance of the crystal shards and came to a stall. And this stall is completely different from the gorgeous Chamber of Commerce stall next to it. The person running this stall is just a middle-aged man, and the products in front of him are even more miscellaneous. Compared with other professional Chamber of Commerce booths, his booth couldn't be more simple. What would you like, sir? After seeing Chu Jiang, the middle-aged man also had a smile on his face. Seeing this, Chu Jiang also glanced at his stall. Finally, he felt that the crystal fragment was in one of the small, inconspicuous boxes. However, Chu Jiang was not in a hurry to get the crystal fragment directly. On the contrary, he pretended to be a normal customer and glanced at the things on the middle-aged man's stall. "Boss, how do you sell this clay pot?" 1 million star coins. Chu Jiang. I just picked up a clay pot at random. This clay pot didn't even look any different from an ordinary clay pot. Who knew that this middle-aged man would actually ask for 1 million star coins? Then how can I sell this jade? It's also 1 million star coins. At this time, Chu Jiang felt that this middle-aged man was either playing tricks on him, or he was a profiteer. But for the crystal shards, Chu Jiang was patient and picked out a few things that didn't look like garbage. Finally, he collected the box containing the crystal fragments and the garbage into his arms. Add these things together, and I'll give you 1 million star coins. Make a deal. So refreshing. Chu Jiang didn't expect that this middle-aged man would be so cheerful. However, Chu Jiang didn't think much, just paid and took the things away. After getting the thing, Chu Jiang also confirmed again and again that the crystal fragments were indeed inside. Very good. Being able to get the second crystal fragment for 1 million star coins is considered worthy of it. After Chu Jiang took away the crystal fragments, the dark stars came to the middle-aged man's stall. The middle-aged man just glanced at the dark star spirit in front of him, and then said calmly, "The things you want have been bought. Now, I'm closing." After that, the middle-aged man also directly put away the stall in front of him. The Dark Star Archbishop looked at Chu Jiang's leaving figure and took out a glass container from his arms. In this glass container, a crystal fragment emits violent energy fluctuations. These dark Protoss also have a crystal fragment on their bodies. Because of this, they can quickly and accurately track the signal of the crystal fragment. One of the Dark Stars saw this and immediately said, "Archbishop, according to the energy fluctuations of the crystal fragments, that human boy definitely has more than one crystal fragment on his body. Do you want me to take action and snatch all the crystal fragments from that human being?" Hearing these words, the Dark Star Archbishop also shook his head. "Fred, you need to change your impatience. We must get the crystal shard back from that human, but not now. If we take action in the Brilliant Star, the Lord of the Brilliant Star will definitely not let us leave easily. Let the crystal fragment stay in the hands of this human being for a few days. When he leaves the Bright Star, it is time for us to take action." After Chu Jiang obtained the second crystal fragment, he also put the two crystal fragments together. Later, he discovered that after the two crystal fragments touched, they actually merged into a larger crystal fragment. The two fragments actually fused. I really don't know what material this crystal fragment is made of. But then, Chu Jiang discovered something was wrong. The reaction of the crystal fragments has not stopped. In other words, in this starlight gathering, is there a third crystal fragment? Chapter 27, Get ready to take action. How dare you follow me? The third crystal shard? Unexpectedly, I would encounter a third crystal fragment here. Chu Jiang touched his chin, also interested. According to the display of the crystal fragments, the third crystal fragment has been moving. In other words, someone is carrying the third crystal fragment. It seems that they are also here to look for crystal fragments. However, before them, I have found the second crystal fragment. Next, they will definitely not let go of the two crystal fragments in my hand. Putting crystal shards on yourself does have some benefits. In this way, even if a crystal holder appears, he can still detect the other person's presence. But similarly, the other party can also be aware of his existence. However, Chu Jiang is not worried. After all, he can use the support function of the Spear of Adun to instantly teleport the Protoss fanatics to him. By then, it's still unclear who will be the prey. Chu Jiang, where have you gone? It took me a long time to find you. At this time, Yun Qinghan finally discovered that Chu Jiang was missing. After searching for a long time, Yun Qinghan finally found Chu Jiang. And Chu Jiang also smiled. What? Have you finished shopping? After hearing this, Yun Qinghan also said helplessly. Although the things here are good, they are just too expensive. When I first bought biometal, I almost used up my budget. Sure enough, the Starlight Gathering is still the home venue for those rich people. Yun Qinghan looked at his wallet and felt like crying. If I had known earlier, I would have prepared more star coins before the interstellar voyage. Chu Jiang touched her head. If we buy enough things, let's go back first. The products at Starlight Gathering will be different every day, and maybe there will be better ones tomorrow. When Yun Qinghan heard these words, he secretly thought in his heart. After I go back today, I have to contact my family. Let her family provide some money for herself. Although she had clearly requested it at the beginning, she would never rely on her family after the interstellar voyage. But now, faced with an opportunity like the Starlight Gathering, she must seize the opportunity. The two walked out of the brilliant building, and the sky was gradually getting dark. Isn't it already so late before you know it? It's normal for the bright stars to have shorter days and nights. Chu Jiang glanced behind him, and sure enough he found several figures following him in the crowd. Seeing this, Chu Jiang also waved his hand. The pilots hiding in the crowd suddenly understood. From the beginning, Chu Jiang hid the pilot among the crowd around him. On the surface, Chu Jiang and Yun Qinghan did not have any guards around them. In fact, a large number of pilots have long been hidden among the crowd. Whenever he encounters danger, these pilots can appear immediately to protect his safety. Not only that, in order to prevent the situation like Artisan Star from happening again. Chu Jiang also carries a fragment of the crystal tower with him. Don't underestimate this small fragment. In case of emergency, using this fragment can allow Chu Jiang to teleport back to the Spear of Adun instantly. At the same time, a group of fanatics can also be teleported to escort you. This is also the most powerful point of the Spear of Adun. The support capability is unmatched by any starship. The several dark stars behind him also looked at Chu Jiang's back and followed him closely. At this moment, one of the dark stars couldn't help but speak. Fred, didn't the Archbishop want us to return to the starport first? Why do we continue to follow this human? Hearing these words, the dark star spirit named Fred also sneered. Are you kidding me? This human being has at least 2 crystal fragments on his body. Once captured, they will be able to obtain the crystal shards. This is much faster than searching for crystal fragments from galaxy to galaxy. Besides, the other party is just a blue star human. Not even a psyker. I really don't know why the Archbishop is cowering. At worst, after taking this human being abducted, they would quickly leave the bright star. Anyway, they participated in this Starlight Gathering to find the whereabouts of the crystal fragments. That human is just an ordinary person. An ordinary person has 2 crystal fragments on his body. Isn't this the crystal shard that was delivered to your door?
If we miss it, we may not know where he will be tomorrow. After all, Fred also bewitched other dark stars. After all, it would be difficult for him to take down these two humans in a short time if he relied on himself alone. As long as we can capture this human being, it will be a great achievement for us. The Archbishop is too cautious, but this opportunity is very rare. The opportunity must never come again. With our skills, as long as we are fast enough, we won't cause any commotion. As soon as these words came out, many dark stars were also a little moved. After all, they have traveled to multiple galaxies in search of crystal fragments. Now, an unarmed human possesses 2 crystal shards. How could they not be tempted by such a temptation? Thinking of this, many dark stars also decided to disobey the Archbishop's order. Fred, look at those 2 humans going to a remote place. Chu Jiang and Yunqinghan directly changed their route and walked towards a more remote place. Seeing this, Fred also sneered, "God help me." On Yunqinghan's side, he also noticed something was wrong with the route. "Chu Jiang, what do you want to do?" Seeing the surrounding scenery becoming more and more remote, Yunqinghan thought to herself, could this guy be doing something bad? Then, Yunqinghan started to think. One thing to say, Chu Jiang is really good looking. Moreover, after this period of interstellar voyage, Yunqinghan's favorable impression of Chu Jiang has also greatly increased. Chu Jiang's character and courage are definitely the strongest among all the people he has met. If you are really together with Chu Jiang, it will be a good outcome. However, being a girl's reserve also made Yunqinghan a little uneasy. "Chu Jiang, this is not the way back to Starport." "I know, but before returning to the Starport, we have to get rid of the tail at the back." Tail. As soon as these words came out, Yunqinghan, who was still a little elated at first, felt as if a basin of cold water had been poured directly on his head. Is someone following them? At this moment, Chu Jiang stopped and turned around. "I really don't know if you are really stupid, or if you are talented people and are bold. Under such circumstances, you can still follow me without hesitation." Chapter 28, Who wouldn't be the same as being invisible? "No, we are prisoners." "Hey, it seems you already know that we are following you. Now that you know it, you still dare to go to such a remote place by yourself. Human, I advise you to be more honest, so as not to suffer some physical pain." In the thick night, several dark star spirits also appeared. The leading dark star spirit is the dark star spirit named Fred. Chu Jiang looked at the dark star spirit in front of him and narrowed his eyes slightly. "Protoss." "Wrong. Although the stars in front of me look exactly like the stars in the Spear of Adun. However, some of their characteristics are still very different. The star spirits in the Spear of Adun give people a feeling of nobility and elegance. The stars in front of him felt more like hunters in the darkness. It makes people feel a little scared and exudes an extremely cold atmosphere." Chu Jiang had seen Protoss with this kind of aura in the database of Spear of Adun. In the history of the Protoss, there is a group of Protoss who do not agree with the traditional ideas of the Protoss. They gave up their connection with the Protoss god Kara, thus completely breaking away from the entire Protoss clan. And these stars are called dark stars. Dark Protoss and traditional Protoss, although they are both Protoss, their relationship is like fire and water. It seems that these guys in front of me are the dark stars mentioned in the database. At this moment, Dark Star Spirit Fred also raised his arm. A psychic blade popped out directly from the device on his arm. "Human, hand over the crystal fragments on your body. As long as you obediently hand over the crystal fragments, we can let you leave here safe and sound." Crystal shards. Sure enough, the target of these dark stars is the crystal fragment in their hands. Otherwise, Chu Jiang would really not have thought of it. What is there in him that can attract these dark stars? Thinking of this, Chu Jiang also took out the crystal fragment. When the dark stars on the opposite side saw Chu Jiang's crystal fragments, their eyes lit up. That's right. The crystal shard is on this human being. Fred also secretly thought, I didn't expect to get the crystal fragments so easily. The Archbishop will definitely praise me if he finds out. Thinking of this, Fred also stretched out his hand towards Chu Jiang. Human, give it to me. Hearing this, Chu Jiang's face showed a playful smile. What if I say no? Refuse? You are not qualified to refuse. Brush.
Fred pulled out 2 psychic blades from his arms, and his eyes were fixed on the crystal fragments in Chu Jiang's hand. When Yun Qinghan saw the dark stars on the opposite side showing off their weapons, his heart tightened. But at this moment, Chu Jiang held him in his arms. Yun Qinghan looked up and saw Chu Jiang looking at her in his arms with a smirk on his face. "These guys are coming for me, what are you afraid of? What are you doing? People are rushing over to you, and you are still teasing me here." Before he finished speaking, several figures appeared in the surrounding night. Many dark star spirits were slightly startled. "What's the situation?" "I saw that many pilots had also released their stealth mode, and many dark Protoss found themselves surrounded." Yun Qinghan's eyes widened as well. Were these pilots lurking around them all this time? Thinking of this, Yun Qinghan immediately blushed and broke away from Chu Jiang's arms. "You have already ambushed the pilot here, right? I deliberately walked to a remote place just to draw these dark stars into the encirclement." Chu Jiang touched her head, not too stupid. From beginning to end, Chu Jiang never paid attention to these dark stars. In terms of military strength, he has an absolute advantage. In terms of strength, he believed that the pilot's combat effectiveness was no worse than these guys. If it doesn't work, he can still activate the sleeping Protoss warrior in the Spear of Adun. Or, you can summon a Titan yourself to come to the battlefield. No matter which outcome it is, there is only one final result, and that is Chu Jiang will win. Fred, the Dark Star spirit opposite, glanced at the surrounding pilot warriors and sneered. "Is this your trump card? I thought you had some tricks up your sleeve, but now it seems like nothing more than that. You want to stop me just because of these mortals?" As soon as he finished speaking, the figure of Dark Star Spirit Fred became increasingly faint in the darkness. Invisible. So will their Dark Protoss. In the stealth state, if the opponent has no reconnaissance means, it will be impossible to guard against it. He's just an ordinary person with naked eyes. Do you really think he can fight against us Dark Stars? In the darkness, Fred's voice gradually came closer. Fred, who was in the invisible state, also showed a proud smile. But at this moment, Fred only heard a series of sound breaking through the air. The next second, several flying knives slashed across his body and landed on the ground around him. Seeing this, Fred smiled. Ridiculous. These guys can't see themselves, so they just attack randomly with such inferior weapons. But at this moment, Fred saw Chu Jiang's slightly raised corners of his mouth, as if mocking his ignorance. Buzz. The next second, the reconnaissance knife on the ground emitted a series of special magnetic field waves. Fred, who was in the invisible state, was instantly exposed to everyone's sight. One of the pilots seized the opportunity and moved directly behind Fred with a phase shift. Fred also reacted quickly and swung the psychic blade behind him quickly. Whoosh! When Fred turned around, he found that the pilot also disappeared in an instant. The next second, the pilot appeared beside him. Boom! A mediocre punch knocked Fred to the ground. Fred, who fell to the ground, stared wide-eyed and couldn't believe the result. He actually lost to a human. Immediately afterwards, the pilot raised his reconnaissance knife and inserted it into Fred's armor. Almost instantly, the scout knife hacked into the armor system and blocked all of Fred's armor. A series of actions seemed to have been rehearsed countless times. Before Fred could react, he was captured alive. The Dark Star spirit not far away also changed his expression when he saw his companion being captured. But just when they made a move, the pilots around them immediately raised their firearms. It's over. The hearts of many Dark Star spirits sank. Being captured alive by the enemy was not a good outcome. But at this moment, another voice came from the darkness. "Hey, you kids, I've told you not to act rashly. How can someone who can hold crystal fragments be an ordinary person?" Chapter 29, Give Me Some Face. Why were you captured alive, Archbishop? The night, the Dark Star Archbishop also gradually revealed his figure. Unlike those Dark Protoss, the Dark Protoss Archbishop holds a huge scythe. It has to be said that the Dark Star Archbishop is completely different from those Dark Stars. Just standing there, he gave people an extremely powerful sense of oppression. Chu Jiang also protected Yun Qinghan behind him. Unexpectedly, after capturing the younger one alive, an older one also came. The Dark Star Archbishop glanced at the captured Dark Stars. The next second, the sickle in his hand turned into a stream of light and attacked those pilots. The pilots also reacted quickly and used phase movement immediately to avoid damage. I saw the sickle streaking through the air, and the dark stars gathered around the Dark Star Archbishop. I'm sorry, Archbishop, we were reckless in this action. We didn't expect that this human being has such an elite force. The Dark Star Archbishop looked at the many dark stars under his command and sighed. His eyes fell on these dark stars, as if he felt sorry for the ignorant children. It's good if you can correct your mistakes if you know them. Having said that, the Dark Star Archbishop also looked at Chu Jiang. A space blade is also pointed at Chu Jiang. Human, hand over the crystal shards. These soldiers may be able to counterbalance them, but to me it's just a wasted effort. As long as I want to take your life, even they can't stop me. The Archbishop of the Dark Star Spirit also made bold statements. Hearing this, Chu Jiang also smiled and did not respond directly to him. At this time, Fred, who was captured alive, immediately shouted. Archbishop, don't lock me up, kill this human now. You're too noisy. Boom. Before he finished speaking, Chu Jiang raised his hand and shot Fred directly to death. Fred's eyes widened and he couldn't believe it. This human being did something like this. Did his life just perish in the hands of a human being? Fred. The Dark Star Archbishop also couldn't believe that human actually dared to take action. Human. You have to pay for this. Chu Jiang's face was indifferent, and his eyes were unwavering. Since you already want to take my life, you must be prepared to be killed. Ding, all the Dark Protoss data have been analyzed. Anti-psionic armor is ready. Anti-stealth armor is ready. High-power fire armor is ready. At this time, the Dark Star Archbishop felt something was wrong. In the night sky, several dazzling stars appeared. No. Get out of the way. Before he finished speaking, several missiles fell straight down like sharp swords. Boom. 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 In an instant, the location of the Dark Star Archbishop was engulfed in endless flames. The surrounding dark stars were caught off guard and were also affected by the aftermath of the explosion. Immediately afterwards, a set of silver-white armor fell from the sky and landed directly on Chu Jiang. Chu Jiang put on the anti-psionic armor. Chu Jiang had already started collecting information about the Dark Protoss when Fred was captured alive. Now, the anti-psionic armor has absorbed all the information about the Dark Protoss. You go back to the ship first. After saying that, Chu Jiang waved his hand, and a piece of armor fell from the sky and enveloped Yun Qinghan in it. Yun Qinghan didn't even have a chance to resist, and the armor took Yun Qinghan back to the starship. Without Yun Qinghan's presence, Chu Jiang had nothing to worry about. Among all the people present, she was the only one who had no fighting ability. Therefore, Chu Jiang also took the lead in getting rid of it. He didn't think that a few missiles could completely kill the Dark Star Archbishop. As expected, a huge sickle stretched out directly from the flames. A layer of energy shield rose up around the Dark Star Archbishop, and it was this layer of energy shield that protected him from the damage of the explosion. Seeing this energy shield, Chu Jiang was not surprised. After all, Protoss fanatics can do this too. The Dark Star Archbishop frowned, with a hint of anger on his face. Despicable human being, how dare you sneak attack me? The next second, the Archbishop of the Dark Star Spirit transformed into a bolt of lightning and attacked Chu Jiang directly in front of him. Seeing this, the surrounding pilots also opened fire quickly. Da-da-da. The dense gun lines intertwined into a dragnet. But the Dark Star Archbishop's combat skills are obviously more powerful than those of the Dark Stars. I saw his figure disappearing into the night in an instant. The surrounding pilots also reacted quickly and directly threw out a large number of reconnaissance knives. I want to use the detective knife to detect the location of the Dark Star Archbishop. But it is obvious that the Dark Star Archbishop has figured out the rules of these reconnaissance knives and directly avoided the scope of the reconnaissance knives. It's ridiculous. This little trick is enough for you to deal with them. If you want to deal with me, you still think too easily. The Dark Star Archbishop also quickly approached Chu Jiang. But at this time, Chu Jiang stood there without any fear at all. Boom. With a muffled sound, an armor landed from the sky next to Chu Jiang. The next second, the armor burst out with a special electromagnetic wave. The range of this electromagnetic wave is extremely wide, directly covering a range of 100 meters around Chu Jiang. Although the Dark Star Archbishop is agile, he has no room to dodge when faced with such a large range of reconnaissance electromagnetic waves. In this way, the figure of the Dark Star Archbishop was also revealed in the air. Immediately afterwards, Chu Jiang raised his hand, and an energy shield also appeared in front of him. The space blade of the Dark Star Archbishop struck directly on the energy shield. Immediately afterwards, another armor fell from the sky. "Hey, you still want to fight me with just these iron sheets?" The Dark Star Archbishop waved the space blade in his hand and also attacked the unmanned armor on the side. But the next second, his space blade stopped in the air. Every unmanned armor is actually equipped with an energy shield. His space blade cannot break through the energy shield's defense at all. At this moment, Chu Jiang also raised his arm and launched a psychic suppression missile directly towards the Dark Star Archbishop. Boom! The missile exploded, and a psychic interference magnetic field also burst out. The Archbishop of the Dark Star Spirit suddenly felt a chaos in the spiritual energy within his body. Seizing this opportunity, Chu Jiang directly controlled all the armors and stepped forward to fight in a group. The Dark Star Archbishop without his psychic powers is just a star spirit with a slightly stronger combat power. Chapter 30, Multifunctional Armor, The Last Crystal Fragment. Damn it. The Dark Star Archbishop looks ugly at the moment. What the hell is going on with all this junk? It was as if every move he made was understood by the enemy, and the attacks of these armors were almost all aimed at his own weaknesses. This made the Dark Star Archbishop feel that all his strength was useless. Among them, the special magnetic field released by Chu Jiang's anti-psionic armor suppressed the psychic energy in his body. Boom. At this moment, several armors transformed into cages and trapped the Dark Star Archbishop. The Dark Star Archbishop has never fought such a frustrating battle. Looking at the Dark Star Archbishop who was captured alive, Chu Jiang sneered. "Rest assured. I will not let you die easily before I get the information I want from you." Upon hearing these words, the captured Dark Star Archbishop's eyes widened with anger. But no matter how angry he is, he can only move his eyes now. Chu Jiang waved his hand, and many pilots also stepped forward. One of the pilots also picked up the reconnaissance knife and stabbed the Dark Star Archbishop with one knife. Not long after, the Dark Star Archbishop felt that the energy armor on his body had lost its function. Feeling the collapse of the equipment, the Dark Star Archbishop also widened his eyes. "Who the hell are you? How is it possible to crack the equipment of our Dark Protoss?" Now, even the Dark Star Archbishop was panicking. When he had the equipment, he was no match for these people, but now that he has no equipment, it would be even more difficult for him to escape. And Chu Jiang chuckled, "You will see who we are in a moment." Afterwards, Chu Jiang stepped forward and searched for the Dark Star Archbishop. Finally, the third crystal fragment also appeared in Chu Jiang's hands. Chu Jiang put this third crystal fragment together with his own crystal fragment. As expected, the three crystal fragments merged together again. "Take away." Chu Jiang waved his hand, and many pilots escorted the Dark Star Archbishop back to the starport. There is too much noise in the fighting here. It won't be long before the escort of the Bright Stars will arrive here. Once the forces of Bright Star intervene, Chu Jiang cannot guarantee that anything unexpected will happen. As a result, many pilots also escorted the Dark Star Archbishop back to the starport. When the Dark Star Archbishop was escorted to the starport, he finally saw Chu Jiang's Spear of Adun. This Doomsday Ark, once built by gathering all the technologies of the Protoss, now appears in front of the Dark Protoss Archbishop. The eyes of the Dark Star Archbishop were filled with shock. Spear of Adun. How can it be? Didn't this Ark fall on the Protoss mother planet during the Zerg War? Why did it suddenly appear here now? When the Dark Star Archbishop was escorted into the Spear of Adun, his expression changed drastically. The interior of the Spear of Adun is full of various Protoss technologies. Now, the Dark Protoss Archbishop can be sure. The Spear of Adon in front of them is the Doomsday Ark that their Protoss once built. How could this human being own the Doomsday Ark of our Protoss clan? At this moment, something even more shocking happened to him. Several Star Spirit fanatics also appeared in front of the Dark Star Spirit Archbishop. These Star Spirit fanatics glanced at the Dark Star Spirit Archbishop, with a playful smile in their eyes. Captain, please leave this Dark Star spirit to us to deal with. We will never be merciful to these Dark Protoss who betrayed L. We'll learn everything you need to know from his mouth. Chu Jiang glanced at the Star Spirit fanatics and then waved. Many pilots also understood and handed over the Dark Star Archbishop to the fanatics. When the Dark Star Archbishop looked at the fanatics who were also Star Spirits in front of him, instead of feeling any luck, his eyes were filled with despair. You know, although they are both Star Spirits. But the Dark Protoss and the L Protoss are completely two extremes. If he falls into the hands of these L Stars, one can imagine his fate. These L Protoss will not show any mercy, and their methods will even be more cruel. The Dark Star Archbishop seems to have foreseen his own ending. At this time, Chu Jiang also came directly to Stark Laboratory. After this battle, he also gained a new understanding of Stark Laboratory. This Stark Laboratory is simply an artifact. After just a round of battle, a lot of battle data appeared in the entire Stark Laboratory database. Artificial Intelligence Friday once again simulated a large amount of armor data based on the battle data of the Dark Protoss Archbishop. Dark Protoss armor created based on Dark Protoss data, has extremely strong combat capabilities and stealth capabilities. Pilot armor created based on pilot data, integrates all pilot equipment and makes switching smoother. Titan armor is a heavy armor manufactured based on the data of Titan mecha. With the heavy firepower of Titan mecha, it increases the flexibility of wearing it. I have to say that this Stark Laboratory is simply a treasure trove. Friday, record the data of this battle. Roger that, Captain. After collecting the battle data, Chu Jiang also left Stark Laboratory and headed to the bridge. Unexpectedly, on the way, he met Yun Qinghan, who was sent back by him in advance. At this moment, Yun Qinghan looked anxious and was walking back and forth in the cabin. The moment she saw Chu Jiang, the uneasiness on her face immediately disappeared. Chu Jiang. You're back. Otherwise, you still want me to die in battle? Chu Jiang made a joke, which also made Yun Qinghan roll her eyes. That's the Dark Star Spirit. I heard that the Dark Star Spirit's fighting style is extremely brutal and has powerful stealth skills. Aren't I afraid that something will happen to you? You actually have the guts to make a joke. After hearing these words, Chu Jiang also touched Yun Qinghan's head. Don't worry, just a few Dark Stars can't do anything to me. At this moment, a message popped up on Chu Jiang's microcomputer. Zealot, report to Captain, the Dark Protoss Archbishop requests to see you. Zealot, he said he knew the location of the fourth crystal shard. Fanatic, furthermore, he also said that with only 4 crystal fragments, the coordinates of the legacy of the old human empire can be located. Chu Jiang didn't expect that the Dark Star Archbishop would recruit him so quickly.